Hello, hello, and happy Friday. We are going to hopefully get to the point where we release a new build today. Also, hey, Galaxy Inferno. You've claimed first. You're here before all others. All right, challenge mode is main feature replayability, condensed version of the game, presents randomized choices, we'll have a loose condition. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Whew. Hey, Rixa. Someone told me Adam was done learning. He's moved on now to teaching. That was kind of what happened back in the days when I first made Adam Learns. The idea truly was at first just to learn stuff on stream. And that was it. It was just period. Nothing else. And I found out that people, it's not that they disliked learning stuff alongside me, I guess. It's that I think teaching has much more appeal because it's like, oh, let me give this value specifically to you now. So I did start switching into making courses back then. It was a lot of work. I disliked some parts of it. I didn't like that I could stream for like a week, but then I needed to take a week or two off to make the course. So there was kind of an erratic schedule. Then being in a state of just constantly trying to find, okay, what can I learn so that I can teach it is not really fun. I want to learn stuff because I'm interested in learning that stuff. And putting an extra goal on top of it kind of saps some of the fun out of that. Achievement of the day. Well, there's possibly the afternoon stream. You might get 2 first for the day. Dream big, Galaxy Inferno. Dream big. 2 person a random internet stream. Okay, so the first thing on the list is to organize this list. So I want to process these. These are from, I'll just say like mid-August. Mid-August 2025. Yeah, I'm not going to do this right now. So we're just going to bump this down here. The backlog on this to-do list is growing like crazy. And when I finally feel like challenge mode is in a good state, I'll hopefully feel a little differently about this. Next up is to fix this bug. Gives Athletics a point. Okay, we can give Athletics a point right now. That's easy. Done. Wait, that can't be right. Didn't I already give Athletics a point? Is that not their name in chat? Uh-oh. What did I just do? Oh, maybe I never did give them a point. That's strange. I probably should have. Okay, well, let's give them another point then. Took the day off of work. Achievements don't have much competition. You'd be surprised. Oh, I see what you mean. With the rest of your life. Eh, you never know. But how's your day off work been so far? Because you're, if I recall correctly, in a time zone ahead of me, so you've already had more time to enjoy the day. All right, prioritize run variety. Yeah, so I want that to be there for this stuff. Difficulty stuff, crank specialization up to the maximum. Yeah, so let's go make our to-do list for today. Different difficulties and then run variety. Improve challenge mode 4. I think that's what we're up to. I should probably be deleting the old branches at some point. Yeah, that's what we're up to. Okay. All right, so technically, I guess fix the bug is on the top of the list. Yeah. Perks, super perks, events. Hey, Matt was here. Series of dumb questions. The updates that were pushed recently, will those only apply to the playtest version? Yeah, only the playtest version. And if you want, you can join the playtest version pretty easily. But yeah, I post these updates to this section on Discord, which you probably can't even see. It's under the playtesting section. So yeah, if you join, you get access to these things, and ideally, like the main thing right now is figure out, is the mode fun? And there are some things we need to do to make it easier to experience the fun that's there, and then we need to also enhance that fun. I slept a bunch. It's super warm in Europe right now. I'm trying to finish my newsletter now. Oh, cool. Is the newsletter a personal thing or like a, I guess it probably has to be a personal thing, but are you producing it, consuming it? Consider a public playtest. Oh yeah, this is something we probably should do. I do need more playtesting, and I wonder if I were to just make it public, what would happen? Like, what if anyone could get a key for this? But I think it would be difficult So maybe I'll write that in phase 3. Yeah, I don't want someone getting the playtest version and then being confused about what it's for. Maybe steer them toward the demo or regular mode if they get that version and haven't played before. Have like 5 prompts they have to go through. I don't know. Is there a plan for an early alpha or beta at some point, or just play test until release? So the plan was basically there'd be the demo, which is already done, I guess, and then the playtest version is the only other way for people to try what I've been working on. Yeah, so I don't think we're gonna do like a public playtest version, but we might. It all comes down to what's gonna provide the most value for the game. And what I need to know now is like if you gave 100 people access to challenge mode, how many people play 1 run, 2 runs, 10 runs? How many people just want to keep playing that mode? Because if most people stop after like a couple, it means I did something wrong. I don't know if links are all. Yeah, you can share a link. Yeah. Right, tutorials and tips. Nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. This is something I'd like to do, and I just don't know where. Maybe we could use the skull icon. That probably wouldn't be clear. All right, I'll write myself a note to take a look at this. Hopefully I have some time over the weekend. Okay, I think we should crank specializations up. Yep, let's go write that down. Oops. I didn't mean to click that. Crank specializations up to the maximum. Buck the fishing spec a bit is what I meant to put here. Yeah. Maybe leave room for 1 to 2 perks to still be unlocked. Not sure how that'll feel. Add different difficulty levels. Yep. Difficulty levels. Probably need to add more perks and rebalance what we have. Balance what we have. Maybe just with perk levels. E.g., what should we say here? Harvesting efficiency could have another level. That sort of thing. Hey, is Matt? I sent 15 marketing emails yesterday, and one of them was to another person named Adam, and I signed my email Other Adam, and I thought of you, is Matt. You probably thought no one would want to willingly do that. Make the game automatically screenshot, make it clear what the difficulty levels do in game. Yeah. So add all, what is it? Like 36 difficulty levels. Make it clear what each one does while you're in the game. Consider rendering difficulty like skull number. Okay, cool. So we're ready to start. Hooray. All right, let's make a new branch. Let's make sure we're up to date on this one and then we don't have outstanding code. I do have this. Why is this here? Oh yeah, I tested this out. We don't need that. Got 6 items to finish my project and get it into staging. I'd like to do before end of day. All right, best of luck. We both have a plan to hopefully release today. In fact, I want to write that down for myself too. Release if we can. Definitely find a less common name. The other guy's name isn't really even Adam. What are the odds? Did you claim first in his stream? Huh? Didn't think so. Hey, player. Okay, so Xyletics reported a bug yesterday where they got the mage to like level 42 and then something went wrong. So yeah, let's go try this out. How's it going, Flare? You feeling like you're able to manage the stress better right now, or we still counting down the days till vacation? All right, so we're just gonna buy everything. And eventually this is gonna break, I guess. I could have sworn I tested this though. Maybe I didn't. Also, maybe this is stupid. What am I doing? let's change this. Adventure classes, sample 3. Let's just sample 10 of them. And then for the actual battle perks, let's take out let's just give 3 of these. That should work. Things are getting worse and worse. At least I can play 20 hours of Dota a day. If you didn't have that goal of launching a playtestable version of your game, would that ease up the stress? I think sometimes just lessening expectations can be really helpful. Hey, Potrail, thank you for the post on Discord. I really appreciate it. I'm in a state of confusion about what do we need for the game. Okay, so we're gonna just pick, let's just pick the rogue every time. And we're gonna eventually have all of the skills taken. Where's the rogue? There. I guess we can just look for the highest number. Yeah, so how many are we up to so far? We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need 8 more of these. So now 7 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so it's going to offer Prey on the Weak next. Yep. And now I think there might be a bug when we click this. Did it cause an issue? It did not. Huh. Strange. It looks like everything's working. Hey, Logo Dev. It's going pretty well. Giving up on the game for now. It's not very good, and I can't handle that at the moment. Yeah, but I think, like I said, I think lessening expectations is a good thing. I don't think you're being a downer either. I think lessening expectations is important when you've already got too much stuff going on. It's like the solutions whenever you have too much work is do more work or expect less work to get done or involve someone else. That's kind of all you can really do. And yeah, I think sometimes this is the option that you should do. Sometimes it's this option. Sometimes it's this option. But I am wishing you the best. Sort of miscellaneous notes I took playing so far once I wrap up the week at work. By the way, if you want, you can potentially just dump the miscellaneous notes into Discord and I can sort through them. I want to make it as easy as possible for playtesters to just test things out. And that's why I was saying if you're not comfortable with this, that's fine. But if you want to leave just a voice message of like, oh yeah, that thing was fun and that wasn't, and I like that, and if that's easier for you, by all means do that. I'll consume whatever it is you produce. All right, so what exactly happened here? Battle perk choice line 16, string join. Battle perk choice, string join. Did the 2-string fail? Get description? That's here. And nothing inherits from this, right? No. Which means that there were no perks. It's the only thing that's possible here. Nothing else could produce a null reference exception. So it couldn't generate the perks. And that's passed in here into the constructor. And we know that it was from the generator, I guess. Right? We do know that. choice. Perk choice with adventurer UI. Create perk choice. There should be a generator in here. Oh yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, there is no generator in here. Update from perk choices. Choose perks panel tab. This has to exist. Yeah, we call create. There's create. Create calls update description. I don't know where. Oh, this is virtual. So here maybe? No, where is that? Where does that happen? Why do I just lose this? Line 29 of that. Oh, ready does it. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Okay, so ready does this here. Or I guess this is part of what does call this. It's in it. Okay, yeah. Sure. Okay. Has hired. This is just for the party member thing. Get the level. This get number of perks chosen for adventure +1. And then force update level label. That stuff's not a problem. We call update description. Calls into this, which then doesn't know how to operate because there are no perks. Weird. So somehow we just didn't generate a list of perks. How is that? Is that a thing that's doable? Generate battle perks. Can this even return null? It can't return null. It could have an empty list, but an empty list wouldn't even be a problem. Wow, I am so confused about this. I mean, I guess what we could do that would make this maybe even easier to test is just in adventuring mode, we just give everybody like 40 perks and just see what happens. Or maybe this is some mage specific thing, or there's a race condition in how you unlock skills, or I don't know what. Oh, I gotta choose adventuring specialization. Otherwise, this does nothing. Okay, so we've got some really high level adventurers. And yeah, it already failed. Huh. What's doing that? I'm very curious about this. I think this would be fun to figure out. But yeah, it has to be that this isn't set. Can we put a breakpoint there and say perks is null? And then just restart the whole thing, I guess? Because that should get hit pretty much every time, right? Yeah, it just got hit. It says it's not null. The condition for a breakpoint failed to execute. Condition was perks is null. Error returned. This not available in current context. What? How could this not be available in the current context? Perks is equal to null. It still says this is not available in current context. I don't know. This is some like weird thing. Yeah, this is some weird thing. All right, well, that's okay. We can do this in a different way. We can just say if perks is null, then yeah, sure, return no perks available. I think that's the only way this can fail. Hey, Monadic Bind, happy Friday. At least we have a consistent repro now. That is very good. Because this was not the plan for today. So I'd like to figure out this bug. Okay, it did not happen there. So maybe we need to level up a bit more. We don't have the farm, so we can't level up. We still don't have the farm. There. Okay, now we can level up. So we're going to pick, I don't know, the mushroom character until this just breaks in. Or I'll just click a bunch of random stuff here. No. Okay, that didn't seem to do anything. Let's try again. Just keep entering this mode until it happens. Because shouldn't it happen pretty quickly? It happened the first 2 times. So I guess it's random. Oh, wait, it can't happen now. There won't be a bug because I did this. Okay, so we'll never see a stack trace, but it should break in here. Hey, Zaletics, I'm trying to find the cause of the bug that you shared. I gave you a point, by the way. I gave you 2 points. I don't know why I hadn't given you one for the first time. For whatever reason, this isn't occurring anymore. So maybe I'm wrong about what I had said here. Maybe somehow we passed in a null perk. Is that possible? That's the only other thing this could possibly be, I think. But I'm not sure if it's even a case we can hit. I don't even know where that generator went. Battle generator here. Can we put a null perk in somehow? Perk equals, oh my god. Well, you apparently can, but we check here if it's null. So is there a way, how would you generate one? Invalid perk ID, or that the perk can't be generated, which I think only one of these even overrides. Oh, no, multiple do. Okay, never mind. Oops. I think I know what happened here. And I bet if I look at the screenshot now, where is it? I bet it tried generating dodge when it couldn't. Why don't we check that though? Only order the perks. Yeah, sure. Grant one defensive perk. Are there defensive perks? Can you maybe not generate one of those? Oh, dodge is a defensive perk. Oh, well then, but there's if you can't generate it, then return null. Oh, but we add it anyway. Okay. I understand. I know what's going on. Whew. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to try generating a perk when you have maxed out your dodge percent. That's why this is rarely happening, because it needs to hit 50%, which is just pure luck. And the fix is just don't always add this. So we could say something here like battle perk, defensive perk equals this. Oh my god, I even put the exclamation mark there. That was stupid. And then if defensive perk is not null, then add it. All right, that should fix it. But let's get rid of this for now. So that is clearly not the problem here. Well, sorry, that is the problem. But I want to test it. And then let's go and do this. Yeah, no perks available. We can delete that stuff. So this will cause the error to happen. And the easiest way to test this is just to do... let me think about this. Dodge perk. We just always generate a value of 75%. I think this is 75, 100%, but it doesn't matter as long as it's higher than 50%. So it's going to generate a dodge perk that's going to immediately put you over the limit. And then if it ever tries generating dodge again, it's going to fail. So this is the way to repro this. So we need to pick someone who has dodge offered here. There, 75, 100% chance to dodge, Archer. So we click that. Now we click buy. And now we need to wait for the Archer to get that same perk again. They've been offered lifesteal, lifesteal, lifesteal. There's like a 1/3 chance of this. Should not take this long. 4 to 2. Are you kidding me? Come on. Ah, there we go. Set via code. Yeah, so that's the problem. So now we can fix this by putting in that null check that I had somewhere there. And now that should never happen again. Okay. It's a very good catch. Because I would hate for someone to hit this for real in the middle of a run. All right, so we just got to find whoever has dodge. So Spirit Caller. And then we just do this again until we see dodge, which shouldn't take very long to do. And as long as we can see dodge there, then we know that it worked. We still haven't seen it yet. But this is just randomness right now. We haven't actually hit a bug yet. Oh, interesting. Okay, this is actually worse than I thought. So if you have the maximum amount of dodge, it just won't show as a perk. So we should generate a different defensive perk if that's the case. Okay. I see. Because here we try all the offensive perks. When it comes to a defensive perk, we need to do the same thing. Okay, not too bad. In fact, we should probably have a function that just passes in a list of available perks and keeps generating one of the available list or some number of the available list until you have all the ones you want. Yeah, that would be smarter. Private static battle perk. So generate battle perk from options. Town, adventure class, list of perk IDs. Yeah. So we want to, oh, and we need to figure out how many you should get. Num perks to generate. Okay, so we're going to copy paste all of this in there, I guess. So this is not offensive perks. We're going to have to rename this. But number of perks to generate is there. So number of perks to generate. Yeah, that actually looked good. I like that. This is just perks. This is perk IDs. So does this look good now? We start at 0. We have an empty list. While the number of perks is less than what we want to generate, and we still have some perks we can go through, get the ID, try generating it. If it's not null, add it, and then just return the perks, right? Yeah, so this is a list of battle perks. Oh, but it's even more complicated than this. Oh, man. Maybe I shouldn't even try accommodating this scenario. Or just let your dodge chance get up to like 100. What do I care? I think I'm just going to kind of leave it at this for now, though. All right, so we want to generate... Wait a second, 3. Why 3? We generate health and then 2 offensive ones and then a defensive one. What? Did I just change this right now? Oh, I think I changed this myself. Oh, it should be 2. Yeah. Yeah, the line was yellow. Okay, that's confused me for a second. Yeah, so, and we always want to order them by a particular thing. In fact, maybe we should take in the list of perks and just modify it. Yeah. No. Defensive stuff is always going to be the end. Okay. All right. So offensive perks equals generate. We need the town. We need the adventurer class. We need the perk IDs we want to possibly generate. That is shuffled offensive perk IDs. Why does it matter that they're shuffled like that if we're going to then sample from it? This doesn't matter. And then num offensive perks. So this can only contain perks that actually existed. Yeah. So now we delete. Why is this failing? Why is this failing? What is this? Cannot convert from an read-only list to a list. Okay. Kind of stupid. Yeah, it is kind of stupid. And I can't do this because now it's going to complain because I need to do another 2 list at the end of this. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Yeah. All right, well, whatever. And then we add in all of those. So this is offensive perks. Index to try isn't needed. All right, now grant 1 defensive perk. Hooray. So we do defensive. Why is that? A local variable defensive perks is already defined. Oh, those are IDs. Yeah. We should just rename that. All right, so this is defensive perk IDs. That stuff's all fine. And number we're going to generate is 1. We then add that in. Now, why is this failing? Because it's a hash set. Man. ToList dot. I want to shuffle this. Yeah, okay, fine. Then we need to change that, huh? List, battle perk ID, shuffle, defensive perks. Okay, so we do pretty much the same thing that we had before. Yep, and then take that there. Okay, now I think we're good. Yeah, nice. Okay. So a thin wrapper around cref equals generate battle perk that will only add perks that can actually be generated. For example, suppose your dodge chance is already at 100% and you try generating it, it will fail, but we shouldn't just not give you a perk. I should say, but we still need to give you another perk in that case. Yeah, that'll probably be a little bit easier to understand. Okay, so now we got to go test this out. So now, how do we validate this? I guess what we should do is we should generate 3 defensive perks. How many defensive perks are there? There are 4. Yeah, so this is going to make it so we don't need to test for as often. So 3/4 of the time, we'll see dodge show up. We pick it the first time, and then we try like 4 or 5 trials, and we should never see it show up, but we should always see another 3 perks there. So I'm going to do this once. We just look for anywhere that there's dodge there. So the mushroom character, we're going to pick this, and now it should never show up, but they should still be getting the same amount of perks offered. 3 defensive ones. Is lifesteal defensive? I guess we consider it. So there's 3 defensive ones. Yeah. So it should always be fortitude, lifesteal, and healing received. Fortitude, lifesteal, healing received. Yeah. And I've done this 4 times now, so the odds of it not showing dodge are pretty slim. Although not impossible. It's 1 out of 256, I think. But I'm pretty much convinced that this is working fine. Okay, so isn't there some other thing that makes it so you can't generate a perk? Let me go take a look at that too. Can generate. Where do we override this? Dodge and fortitude. Fortitude checks to make sure you're at less than 350. Okay, well then here's what we do. We set this to 350. And now what we should see is that you should only be offered 2 perks at one point, because you'll have the maximum dodge and the maximum fortitude. Although I gotta say, I don't think we should even cut these out. Yeah, so there's max fortitude. So now we're gonna be offered max dodge. There's max dodge. Now we're gonna not be offered an extra perk for the mushroom. Yeah, nice. Oh, it's all working. Oh, wait a second. 100% dodge is equal to 500 fortitude, isn't it? Both make you invincible. It doesn't matter how you became invincible. Is it by dodging everything, or is it by not taking any damage from anything? I guess technically there could be an undodgeable ability in the future, but it doesn't. I don't really think I care about this. Yeah, I don't think I care. All right, so cool. We fixed the bug. Let's go revert everything that wasn't part of the fix. Yeah, this function got a little bit more complex. Not super happy about that. So let's see what we can do about that. Hey, neural net. And hey, Diamond. Gets nuked dodge. I mean, that is kind of how it works, right? I just read an article about a game that said they didn't want like traditional RPG stats. Like, isn't it weird when you swing a sword at an enemy right in front of you and they dodge it? Like, how often would that have happened if it were real life and you were fighting a monster or something? Like, yeah, maybe they've got some superhuman reflexes, but does it happen 10% of the time? I don't know. Anyway, I do find that kind of funny. It's like, oh yeah, you won't take any damage. You just backed up a little bit. Your character went whoop, and the arrow missed them. Okay, so we generate offensive perks and add them, and then defensive perks and add them. Oh wait, that's not supposed to be 3. That's supposed to be 1. Thank goodness I read this over. In fact, why don't we just say int num defensive perks equals 1 and then replace this? We should technically order these as well, but we only ever add 1. Hey, PG King. To the point where this could be part of this function. I mean, you need to return what these are. I don't think I care. Yeah. So the last thing then is, can we make this function a little bit simpler at all? I mean, this we only add here. I don't think it really matters. I mean, we could consolidate this and this into one line of code, but it's not going to make a difference. And here I'll just write is not null. Why did that not get highlighted? That's strange. Must be VS Code breaking down again. Yeah, there we go. Nice and purple. Okay, so fix bug that Xyletics reported. If you maxed out any perk, e.g. you got greater than 50% dodge, then, wait, no, if you max out any defensive perk, which could only be done with dodge and fortitude, then the next time you were offered that perk, it would be null, and that would cause an issue. Now we prevent adding null perks. In addition, if we ever did hit that scenario, we would now substitute a different defensive perk in its stead. Yeah. Who does he think he is? A very helpful person. Dodging attacks is lumped in with armor class, which is the number the attacker has to beat in order to deal damage. I guess the idea behind armor class is you hit them, but their armor prevented them from healing it. Dodge is lumped in with armor class. Huh. I don't recall. I played a very little bit of D&D, and I played some Baldur's Gate 3, which is basically D&D. I don't remember how dodging worked. This bug's been fixed. Okay, so now this is the fun part of adding difficulty levels. We need to go crank all the specializations up to maximum. And I guess we might as well update VS Code before we do any of that. So let's wait. It should take like 10 seconds. Hello, VS Code? Okay, good. This should be an actual monthly update, right? Not just a... No, it doesn't. It's not a big update. It's just GPT-5 stuff. Chat checkpoints? What are checkpoints? Restore different states of your chat conversation? Sure. Tool grouping. Have I already seen this stuff? I don't know. I don't really care. Okay. So the specializations. We're in the right file. We're going to start with farming. So we grant you the farm. So we need to update the descriptions too. Update the descriptions of all of these. And I want this to be that you're pretty much starting with a maxed out building. However, I still wanted there to be some room for improvement. But then those perks become like top priority. So maybe it's not super interesting. Let's go into regular mode to figure out what we should grant. We should dynamically figure out what levels to grant for these things. So I think we're just going to give you everything. Yeah, I think we're going to give you everything, which is just these 4 then, because you already start with this. Oh, and spicy cooking. Had it crash off and on me, only fixed when I threw out every extension I didn't need. The thing is, I think these are coming from the C# extensions, and I need both of them. I only have 2 of those. But it's possible it's coming from another extension. But I don't think I have too many of them. Hey, Oofta. For the Uber perks, would it be bad to add next perk cost X more, so you can still pick it but at a cost? That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I can write that down. Design ideas. This was in the context of having specializations grant practically every perk, it would make the remaining perks auto picks. Yeah, extension longs. I should probably do that at some point. It's just such a disruption because it's like I only remember this stuff when it happens to me, and then I don't want to go searching through all of this. I want to just do my task. Guys, I think we said we'll grant everything. We don't have an easy way to grant everything. We can just type in the ability IDs the whole time. But I think what we need to do is some like force grant ability at max level. Yeah. Maybe public void force grant abilities at max level. So I should write here, grants the specified abilities one level at a time. This means that if you want, say, 2 levels of something, that you should specify that ID twice. And then this one should say, grants the specified abilities at their maximum level. Yeah, sure. All right, so how do we do this? We figure out your current level, we figure out the maximum level, and then we call into this function with however many of those ability IDs we actually need. So like list ability ID, ability IDs with duplicates, and then go through each ability ID there and get the current level, get the max level, which we're not going to do just yet, and then figure out like levels needed equals max minus current. And then, yeah, for this, add that. And then at the end of all of this, call force grant abilities. Whoa. Okay, so now we just got to figure out what these things are. How do we get the current level of the ability? We get the ability or null. I think there's a way of doing that. Player, ability. Get ability or default. What does this do? Create a new one? It does. Oh, that's easy. Okay, we're done. Okay, so now we just call into this function and we make sure it works. So we're going to do force grant abilities at max level. Crop growth speed, increased farm size, crop variety, I guess harvesting efficiency. That one maybe we should leave out. I'm not sure about that. And then one last one. So we're giving you quite a lot with this. I guess it's okay. We can give you 12 or 15 maxed abilities. We should just make sure that the difficulty level scales proportionate to that. Yeah. So let's go try this and make sure it worked. Should be very easy to confirm because we'll see a full farm. Yeah. And we should have all of the perks. Max. This is coincidental, by the way. But yeah, all the rest of these look like they're working. So if we were to plant crops, we should see all different kinds of crops. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's all of them. And I should be able to click and get 5 at a time. Yeah, nice. Okay. That worked. And spicy cooking is there. So our full farm gave us 119 sludge. Interesting. Okay, so now we just do that with everything. So that was farming. What other specializations do we have? Next up is adventuring. Adventuring is not so obvious because if we were to max out an adventurer, it would mean they're pretty much invincible. So we can't max out an adventurer. We said you start with 3 adventurers that are all level 3. I don't feel like that's a big enough perk bonus, right? You start with 2 extra adventurers and they all get, oh, they get 1 free battle perk. Oh, then they start level 2. I was very stingy with this. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah. Now, importantly, there's one other benefit here, which is not stated, which is that by granting 3 battle perks already, the next perk you get is going to be slightly more powerful. Hang on, let me show this. There we go. So it's plus 8 health, plus 6, plus 11. That, the number of perks you've already chosen is 3. So you can get to 10 plus 3 divided by 2. So yeah, that's the maximum health is 11. And then you could actually have 6 as a minimum. So it's not super obvious with health, but if you had, let's say, 40 perks, you'd definitely see this, because now you get 10 plus 20, which is 30 health. So any number of perks we grant extra, we're guaranteeing that they go into the adventurers you already have. So I think we need to be less stingy. So how much would this have cost you? It would have cost 25 gold plus 50 gold, which, by the way, now it lowers the cost of a future adventurer to just 25 gold. So I don't think we can grant you another adventurer. Yeah, I think we need to give more perks, and we need to be careful about that. Let's try maybe 2 more. What happened to Summer? I know. Now let's try giving him 3 perks total. So that's, what are we giving you? We're giving you 9 total battle perks. I guess how many farming perks did we give you? Yeah, it was probably about 9. Yeah, this is probably now pretty reasonable. So what happened here? What did we get? Oh, I didn't actually pick the right thing. Adventuring. Okay. So we have level 4 adventurers. They've got some skills. They've got some stats. And I can just immediately hire a new one. We should probably change that, because I feel like this is a little bit, well, maybe not. Maybe that's just part of the benefits. Yeah. So now where can we fight right from the get-go with these powerful adventurers? We can probably fight like here even, right? Is it even fun? I have no idea this is fun. Can they win this? Maybe not. Probably not. Why am I watching this? Let's just speed this up. Yeah, they win it. All right, so instead of starting by getting a tiny amount of gold, you're getting a ton of gold right off the bat. So this like drastically changes the game. It depends on which ones you get. Yeah, although one thing that won't depend on it is, like, no matter what you get, you could probably beat the volcano instantaneously, and you can probably beat the jungle instantaneously. And by the way, this was with me hiring a mage here. If I were to just build, let's say, the farm instead and get just a tiny bit of crops. So let's say I got just 1, 2, 3, 4. That's enough for another battle perk, which now has 9 perks behind it. So we're getting 14 health at once and 4 damage dealt and 15% haste. These numbers are all higher as a result. So it's like even the first upgrade you get is going to be way better. But I think that's the fun of the mode. So I think we should probably just keep that and just see what people do. And yeah, it'll probably be broken. So that one's pretty good. Okay, let's go take a look at the next one. So that was setup adventuring specialization. Next one is industry. We start you with 4 workers and they move faster. So 4 workers, what would that, there is no way to buy workers. There are perks to get them, but I guess you can still get more if you want to. I feel like 4 is a pretty good amount. Maybe we start you with garbage time as well so they never get stuck. But then you need the garbage slime. So we have, in my mind, we have like 3 knobs to tweak here. Number of workers, speed of workers, and the garbage time perk. Workers won't wait with items at a shop for longer than 5 seconds. Oh, and we could also do hardworking adventurers. Adventurers stock items too. Yeah, I feel like I think this is kind of the point of the mode here. So yeah, I feel like we should give you these 2. So give you a kick out of garbage enjoyer. I really like storage enthusiast, because I guess technically those people exist in real life, but I don't think anyone's a self-proclaimed storage enthusiast. Someone probably is. It's just funny to me. Yeah, this I think is pretty important to grant. So it's like you should have no shortage of workers, and I think we give you this too. All right, so we're giving you worker speed. We're going to give you adventurer. And we're going to give you garbage time. Okay, let's just take a look at that. Seen episodes of Hoarders? Yeah, but that's a problem. I think there's a, like, yeah, I like going and buying containers sort of thing, but not hoarding them. All right, so the descriptions are all wrong here, but we're going to start with 4 more workers, and our adventurers can move stuff too. So if I just generate some items here, we should see the golem go pick something up. Yeah, nice. And if we get the garbage slime, so it says you have 1 distinct perk already. That's garbage time. So now this guy, instead of waiting here, is going to go over to the garbage slime. Yeah, nice. All right, pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. So is that enough is the question. Is starting with 4 workers and having them move faster. I think we should pump this up a little bit more. We should give you level... What level should we give you? What if they all just moved at lightning speed? What if we said force grant abilities at max level and gave you worker speed? So they're all going to dart around. I mean, it's a specialization. It should feel like that, right? Let's see what that looks like. Are they very zippy? Oh, I'm not in that specialization. I'm like, they don't look faster. I gotta pick this. Oh, yeah. They zipping. Yeah, so if you did get some items out of here. Okay, I think that's pretty fun. Yeah. Okay, so that one's done. Next up is Garbage Enjoyer. So we're going to give you all of these at max level. So faster hunger, critical eats, auto eat. I guess garbage time. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Let's go try that one. Garbage Enjoyer. Okay, so perks, everything's maxed. So if we just spewed a bunch of items out, it's going to eat all of them. I should probably speed this up because it's going to take a long time otherwise. Wait for him to start flashing. There we go. All right, so it's going to eat all of them. And how much money do we get? We're at 50 right now. We're at 89 now. Okay. It's getting hungry pretty fast. So we generate some more items and let these disappear. Yeah, it's already basically back up to full. So we're 95, 98 because of a sale. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Okay, let's keep going. Like I said, this is the fun part. It's just cranking things up to maximum. We're going to have the hard part of balancing this and putting in difficulty levels. So more mana. We don't need this here twice. And we probably give you all of the spells as well. Enchanter, customer spell, Enchanter, Entropic Magic. Yeah, this is nuts. Item spell, worker spell, auto cast. So there are 6 perks to get fully maxed out. Let's go try that one. I think this is pretty cool. Also, the number of levels here that we're granting you is pretty substantial. I think this one has... Actually, I guess we can just check. I'm in the wrong mode. I keep doing that. I should probably just have it put me on the title screen. Okay, so we gave you 4 levels plus 2 plus 3. So that's 9, 11, 13, 14. We're giving you 14 levels of stuff. So now you start with 1,000 mana. And you'll send your adventurers into battle. You'll probably hire another adventurer here too. Send them into battle. And you cast the loot spell, which also casts the customer spell for me. And I'll speed this up so they win their battles. And the chance of me getting double loot is 75%. So I'm already getting a ton and I can cast the worker spell. So it's crazy. Yeah, this is definitely nuts. I, like I said, balancing this is going to be very, very difficult because like you shouldn't be getting this many items, and you are, and it's immediate. So maybe we need to make items sell for less in this mode, which I think was already written down. I can't grab that one. Oh wait, we got to auto cast this. We're getting piddly amounts of items now. Yes, now we got another worker. Yeah, we need to add some more perks. Maybe we stop giving out random perks now. Yeah, we probably should, because I really cranked the specializations up. Probably stop giving random perks with each specialization other than chaos mode. Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. We might need to tone some of that down. Code by Coffee, thanks for the sub. And welcome back. It's been 6 years and 4 months. It's been a long time. Okay, so next up is Storage Enthusiast. We're going to give you everything at the max, I guess. Yeah, there, done. And then Chaos. More lurker while I'm working. Totally fine. Yeah, yeah. I don't mean to call you out. I just, every once in a while, where I see someone's name that I haven't seen in forever, I'm like, how long has it been? I click the name. All right, so Chaos spec. How many random perks should we give you? I guess if we're giving you like 10 specific perks for other specs, that we should probably give you something like 15 random perks. I'm not sure how fun that is. We're giving you 10 right now, so we'd be upping it to 15. Oh, thank you too, Monetic Mind. Happy 5 years, 5 months. Nice. It's a lot of time. Okay, so if you're in chaos mode, the number of perks we give you, I guess, should probably just be 0. Why is this even a constant just for this? Yeah, let's generate 0 of these. Which is kind of is funny because now this does nothing. And what happens if we said nothing here? We generate none of these. It would say this stuff. So I guess we need to know how many you granted. If num perks is less than or equal to 0, just return. What was the motivation for the keyboard camera? I think people asked about it a long time ago before I even had a crazy keyboard. They were just like, can we see what you're doing? And as a gift a while ago, I got from some real life friends like a Logitech webcam. And I already had a webcam, so I just figured I'd point it at my keyboard. And people seem to like it. And now I have a weird keyboard, so it's like even something different to look at. Do you find it distracting? All right, so seed perks. So chaos mode, let's give you, I guess, 15 perks by default. Cat sleeping cam. It could, except for she doesn't sleep in this room. Hey, Campbell Soup. Where do we have chaos mode? Okay, set up pirate spec. So grant at max. We're going to give you the treasure chest displays, innate keys. This mode is probably... We probably need all the enemies to be like double their strength from the get-go if we're going to grant you all this stuff. Selective loot. What's it called? Treasure room. What is this called? Select adventure. There it is. And what, auto purchase and auto open? It can't be auto purchase. Well, I guess we could give you auto purchase. Auto open, I don't know about. I don't think you'd want that. Maybe you would. Seems like a negative, actually. Hey, okay. Make is 10 plus 10 minus 10 times length of last play session, plus 20 if you went all the way, plus 10 if you're fishing. Oh, make it, as in chaos. I think I'll just keep it a static amount for now, but yeah, in the future it could be based on how you did in a prior run. Coding speed run. I've got one of those. This is going to be a super overpowered specialization. And then fishing spec is the last one. So at max level, we give you this ability ID, what, glowy fish, and ability ID dot spicy cooking. Okay, let's go try them all out. I don't remember where you left off. I did enchanting. So we need to test all the ones that are after enchanting. And now we're not given random perks when you start, so we shouldn't see a thing pop up over here. Yeah. All right, so storage enthusiast is next. So this should grant maximum of all of the shop storage and the warehouse storage. It did not grant it for the potion shop because I think I cut that out. But let's just have it granted for the potion shop too. Yeah. Why not, right? It's a specialization. Just give you everything. Yeah, so now we go into that mode. Yeah, full potion shop, full armor shop, full warehouse, full weapon shop. Yeah, neat. Okay, next up is the pirate mode. Like I said, I think this one's going to be tough to balance because you start with you're just super overpowered here. So you can choose to buy something for just your character. And then any keys you get, which I can't force spawn in, but I could do this at least. Any keys you get are guaranteed to be rare. So like we just got a skeleton key, so we put it in here. We now got 8 of each item. So let's say we put these in. I'm just gonna put them all in there. All right, so now the witch doctor already got +6 power and +30 health. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just buy another chest, right? So you buy another chest. Well, we have another skeleton key here, so we immediately open this one. And now we got another 10 items for them. So we dump all those in there too. And already the witch doctor is at +15 power and +75 health. And it's like any chest you're just going to pretty much immediately open. Oh, we could even turn on auto purchasing. Yeah, and if we get any more weapons now. Yep, even more of these. Put that in there. Put that in there. So this is probably too powerful even for a specialization. Yeah. Because what are you even deciding in this mode? I feel like all the enemies need to be way harder. Like way, way harder. Do we have that written down already? Oh, I never copied it out of there. I think it's still in the scratch section that we had. Treasure. Battle perks increase in cost. Enemies deal more damage. Weapons are rarer. That's not it. That is not it. It should just be everything is way tougher to beat. Like enemies have a lot more life. 2x their normal life values. Maybe even more than 2x. Yeah. And there'd be a lot of item movement, which I'm not really totally happy with for a treasure mode. So like you're getting workers. What if you just didn't find items? What if the only items you had were the treasure items? I don't know. We gotta think about that. All right, anyway, that was treasure mode, pyro mode. I mean, now there's one more, I think. No, two more. Fishing. So fishing should start you with everything, just like we said earlier. Perks. So flimsy fish. Oh yeah, I forgot about flimsy fish. Yeah, there it is. All right, then extraction, max fish, glowy fish, spicy cooking. So what does this mean? 60% more eggs. So instead of 25 gold, you're gonna get 1.6 times that, 40 gold. I guess it's not great. But if you were to battle these right off the bat, the odds of one of them being glowy is pretty high. Neither one is. Although there is kind of a cheat here. You could just restart the battle and it changes whether they can glow. I didn't do anything about that. Or worse, you couldn't sell items. Like you could only put them in the garbage slime. Yeah, I think we need to make these more distinct. Doesn't sound like a good way to go because bullet sponge thing. But remember, your adventurers are basically like double the power. So it's as though they got to regular power levels. The enemies, I mean. And that's the baseline. Okay, anyway, the final spec is Chaos spec. And now we get 15 random perks. Oh, man. I think it's just too much to read. Yeah, I think it's too much. Oh, it is kind of neat to have this. Just a bunch of random perks showing up. And here we only got one duplicated. So like shiny loot is level 2. Everything else is level 1. But I think the odds of getting just one level 2 perk is pretty slim. Yeah, so here we got 1, 2, 3 level 2 perks. So it's slightly less to read, but it's still a lot. Maybe we should purposely try to generate more level 2s and 3s. Here we got none level 2. That just generated 15 unique perks. Max of like 4 perks in level 1 or 2 or more of something. Yeah. I wonder if we should also start you with... No, I think it's fine. Actually, it would be a good challenge to limit the players' options for using items. Makes them have to better time when the chests open. Yeah, what I think this is going to take is a lot of sort of play testing to find the fun and the difficulty. So I don't think we can just say, oh, let's increase how much gold you have to earn. I think it's not going to be balanced that way. So yeah, we do need to make enemies stronger or make items harder to get or make them harder to transport or something. Actually, you know what? I think I coded the ability for treasure chests to drop from battle and then for workers to carry them to the treasure room. So we could say in pirate spec that you don't have the ability to buy treasure chests anymore. You have to find them from battles. And then your workers have to lug them over to here. But I don't know if I like that. Yeah. If you select this, no, there's a bug there for that. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, so this is done. This is not done. Update the descriptions to match what we just did. So let's go into the new challenge run screen. And we just need to click through all these tooltips and now make them reflect what we actually did. So this is start with the farm and all farming perks maxed out. Larger farm. All crops can grow. I don't think we need to do that, do we? Hey, wait a second. Why don't we... Yeah, why don't we just have this message spawn and then it can, yeah, this should spawn. Change of getting other perk gets smaller and smaller when in chaos modes. Is still possible. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the chance changes. Yeah, I think I want to just come up with some baselines for now, and then we can figure out what's like super broken, and probably a lot is going to be super broken. And when I say broken here, I just mean in terms of power level. Like pirate mode is probably stupidly easy right now, the way I just made things. So we need to test some things out. Hey, Sinstella. Dream about watching Twitch. Randomly change the perks that were given, maintain perks that were chosen by the player themselves. So chaos mode might not seem chaotic enough because that's at the lowest difficulty level. At the highest difficulty level, or maybe even the medium one, yeah, this medium, all new perks are chosen randomly. So instead of you clicking buy perk and then having a choice, you'll click buy perk and it'll just immediately pick like cloning for you. You're like, oh, okay, I guess, sure, that might have been good, that might not have been good. Note, the player should be told which one is picked. Which one was picked? All right, so I want to do this. I want to have like a private void show message about chosen perks. This is just a hash set of ability IDs. All right, so we copy paste this over there. I guess we can put this at the top. Cannot use local variable before it's declared. What? Oh, because this thinks it's here? Yeah. All right, number of perks. So this is to generate them. So this says granted these random perks. It's just going to say granted these perks. Yeah, I like that. So now this can go like so. Abilities granted. Delete all of that. And then in any specialization, we kind of do the same thing. Oh man, it's not going to be that easy, I guess. Because we grant abilities in different ways and maybe at different levels. So we need to pretty much just get all the abilities that we gave you here. Hey, Kevin. Better than a dream? Somehow I accidentally use my prime sub on someone other than Adam. Yeah, it'd be fine if you did. Okay, so what I'm thinking is for all these specializations, whenever we grant you perks, we should keep track of which ones we granted. Yeah. We could do this dynamically. Yeah, we could do this dynamically. We could keep track here of which abilities you have, and then afterward, which abilities you got, and then print out all the ones you got. Yeah. Yeah. And chaos mode would do this right now. So set up chaos specialization. We're going to give you 15 perks. It's going to delete that constant. Num random perks granted. Yeah, it's not needed. And then delete all of this. And then keep track here of what you already had for abilities. So hash set ability ID abilities. Wait a second. Where do we do this? We do it here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Abilities known. Player abilities dot abilities dot keys. What is this? It's a collection. Ability IDs. All right. So do we ever? We don't have a way of getting them. All right. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just do select ability ability.id. So these are the ones that you know. I guess, yeah, 2 hash set. Then we get the abilities you now know. And then we figure out the New abilities. Wow, that's easy. Okay, and then we print out what these new abilities are. Wow, that was very easy. I'll be back next week with a small challenge for you. Okay, I'm curious. I have to code Hello World 2. All right, so granted these perks: well water level 2, clear rocks level 3, crop variety level 4, harvesting efficiency level 1, spicy cooking level 3. Is this random, the order this shows up in? If I take a picture of this, is it going to be the same every time? Oh, this UI does not size correctly. No, it's the same order. And all of them should work this way. So if I click chaos mode, it's printing it twice because of how showing random abilities works. I don't want to do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so everything should work this way. Like if I click this, it should say nothing, I guess. Yeah. If I click this, it should show the different storages. Yeah. Oh, and it tells you the levels basically. So this is granting you 19 levels worth of stuff. Kind of interesting. Fishing is granting you 14 levels. Chaos mode, I think, was 15. I mean, some of these aren't too crazy. Adventuring grants you 0. This one grants you 7. Okay, yeah. I think it's pretty good. I did not do the task I set out to do, though, which was to change the descriptions. I got kind of caught up there for a bit. All right, how do we want to do that? So set up farming specialization. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I wrote start with the farm, and then I was like, should we even tell you what perks you got? Start with the farm and all farming perks maxed out. Yep. We're going to pretty much do that for all these. Start with 2 extra adventurers. All adventurers get... How many did we make it? Battle perks? 3. All starting adventurers get 3 free battle perks. What's the benefit of C# and Godot over GDScript? So I've got my Y C# command here, which kind of talks about why I chose it. I think the benefits in general are if you're familiar with something, one or the other, GDScript or C#, or if you want to use libraries from one or the other, or what else maybe. Yeah, I think those are kind of the biggest reasons to choose one over the other. And then there are some specific things to each language. So GDScript, for example, allows for web exports right now. C# doesn't. It also has easier hot reloading, which is kind of nice. So I don't think GDScript is a bad choice or anything. Hey, Dashful. Getting my master's degree this year, really trying to make the most of it by focusing in the software engineering area. Do you think game dev has a decent future? Second point of interest is AI development enablement. Gaming being my longest passion, would feel like a bummer not to do game dev. I don't think game dev has a good future. No. let me tell you this. So, before this, I used to work at Google, and Google pays a lot of money. And they pay that just as long as you keep the job, right? You could do poorly at Google, and if you're not getting fired, you're still making a lot of money. You're getting stock. You've got job security to some extent if you're doing a good job. Now let's consider game dev. So I started working on this game about 1.5 years ago. It's been full time, and if I'm lucky, I can charge like $15 per copy on Steam, which Steam will immediately take 30% of that. So I will get this much to me before taxes per copy. So let's say you're really lucky and you sell 100,000 copies, right? So that's roughly $1 million, again, before taxes. And that will have been 2 years selling like a crazy amount of copies of this. And that's assuming I was the only person getting paid at all, right? Like there are costs, there's advertising, there's the business, there's all this other stuff. Like this is indie game dev that we're talking about here. But if you look at the industry at large, you'll see there are just tons and tons of layoffs. Like the latest news seems to be trending toward like Studio X finished a game and laid off the whole staff, or game project Y was canceled before being completed, or a game project was about to be canceled, so they just released it anyway and it wasn't really complete. And then, yeah, just look at Steam. Look at how many games are launched per month, per day, per week, per anything. It's like this isn't, you know, if it were 30 years ago, you could look forward to a game and not really have anything to play in the meantime. And now that's just not the case. People have backlogs of games and everything. So I think it's very hard to make it in games. And then on top of all of this stuff, the barrier for entry is the lowest it's ever been. So if you think of just like graphical capabilities from the average person, you go download Unreal Engine and maybe get some asset packs or something, some models, and like you could have a pretty realistic looking game without any game dev experience, without even having to code something. You could just use blueprints the whole time. So yeah, I think it's probably not a good idea to go into game dev. But the nice thing is, no matter what kind of software development you do, you can always do game dev on the side, and you can figure out, do you like it? Does your passion sort of override all of these other things? Do you still want to do it anyway? Did you see Quinn doing a game? No, I heard about that though. I don't think game dev has ever had a good future. I think there were times when it did. Like if you think about World of Warcraft at its peak, it was pulling in like millions per month. And a lot of big games would do very, very well. And some big games still do. It's like League of Legends is doing great. Yeah, there are probably a lot of games that are in that same category of like they're just selling a lot, or they're going the microtransaction route or something. Hey, Mysterious. Yeah. Skills are all transferable, yeah. Start out strong as to live somewhere with extreme low cost of living, apply for government grants. Yeah, if you want to do game dev, yep, I think that sort of thing is probably the route you would go. Or you'd maybe join an existing company or something. By the way, the other thing, you know, I was focusing on the success case of this. If you sell 100,000 copies or something, I don't know what the average indie game makes, but it's probably like $5 or whatever. It's probably something incredibly low. It's like the average view count on Twitch is like 1 or 2, or maybe the median view count, I guess. So it really goes to show you that like the people who have even like 20 viewers are probably in the top 15% of people on Twitch. And it's kind of the same with indie dev. It's like the number of people who turn a profit is probably incredibly slim. Hey Phil, hey Hef. This is more like a passion project like Botland was? No, it's not a passion project. The monetization was at the heart of this. And I do plan on selling this for about $15. But I'm just saying that the odds that it actually pays off are probably pretty slim. And that's with people liking the game. Like if you look at the reviews for this, oh, by the way, they changed the Steam pages now, so you can put videos in here and not just have GIFs, and you can pause them, which is nice. So I'm glad they're making these changes. It feels like Steam is finally getting a facelift after how many years. Anyway, the reviews are 100% positive right now. 57 reviews. Like people are liking the game. This isn't spreading like wildfire though. I have to put in marketing time every week to get more people to play this. So what if it were launched and just people aren't flocking to the game, but everyone loves it? It's like, well, okay, now I got to go buy ads and I got to hope that I'm getting a good return on investment. Hey, Smurf. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I think if you are in a position where you're trying to determine your career and you have the option to ask someone who's been in the industry and they were to tell you like, game dev's great, you should do it, no questions asked, like, I think that'd be a disservice to that person. Yeah, I think data science, AI development, I think that's safer for sure. Also, just sort of general engineering, as I mentioned. And at some point, my advice is do a passion project for a game, just not as your main thing. Like try a game jam, try making a game for, you know, less than probably 6 months or something at a time and just see how it feels. Because the other thing about game dev, monetization aside completely, even as a passion project, going from game idea to game release is a gigantic slog. So there's that saying, you do the first 90% and then you do the next 90%. You might feel like you have a core game developed and then you're like, well, I need content. I need to polish everything. I need to fix bugs. I need to like test this with a bunch of people. I need to get the word out there. There's just so much that goes into it. So yeah, by all means, try it out at some point. I think you'd probably be remiss if you didn't do that, just because you do have a passion for it. But as a job, it's probably not a great choice. I'll make $50 as a friend to buy it, and that's it. Yeah, and the other thing too is it's easy to be like, well, I spent, a year of my time on this. I enjoyed it, but how much would I have made if I were working a minimum wage job? And that's kind of what I think here too. Like the minimum wage in Seattle is pretty high. I think it's even north of $20 now. But you work about 2,000 hours a year if you're doing minimum wage, because it's about 50 weeks times 40 hours per week. So you do 20 times 20,000, it's 40,000. And oops, sorry, 20 times 2,000, I meant to say. It's $40,000. It's like, okay, that's what you'd make in a year working at like a restaurant or a grocery store or something like that. And it's not to denigrate these jobs. I think that's totally fine. I'm just saying, when you put in that much time for game dev and then you get paid out like $200 and you're like, well, I could have just gotten literally any job and made like a crazy amount more than that. Yeah. What do I think? How many copies will I sell? It's really hard to say. A lot of people say take your wish list count and maybe like multiply it by 10%, and that would be your first week sales or something, or I don't know, first month sales. These are approximations, and this is assuming you don't increase in wish list count after you release. And I don't know how much stock to put into some of this stuff, so it's hard for me to estimate. I'm just trying to make as fun a game as possible right now so that people want to play. That means that they'll want to pay the money for it. Hey, Ugly. Have you ever do .NET? You mean like a business application? Okay, so what have I not done here? So all starting adventures get 3 free battle perks, so that one should be finished. Industry is over 5K or 10K. Like I said, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard for me to say. This is start with 4 extra workers. All workers move faster. And adventurers can carry items. Start with, say this, hardworking adventurers. Adventurers can carry items. Start with garbage time. I don't know how descriptive to be here about this stuff. You'll find out as soon as you're in the mode. Maybe we just say start with perks to improve industriousness of your town. Yeah, maybe we leave it sort of a little bit like a cliffhanger here so that you just have to start the perk. Yeah. Start with the garbage slime and all of its perks maxed out. Yeah. Start with the enchanter and all of its perks maxed out. And all enchanting perks maxed out. That's probably better. Is that what it said over here too? And all farming perks, yeah. This should maybe say and all garbage slime perks maxed out. Sorry, the enchanter. Start with the warehouse at maximum capacity, and start with the warehouse and all shops at maximum capacity. Yeah. It's probably best. Start with the treasure room and key storage and all of the and all treasure perks maxed out. Okay, and then finally, oh no, not finally, we have two more. Start with a fishing pond and all fishing perks maxed out. And then this is start with 15 random town perks. Okay, so that's done. And now all specializations start with 3 extra random perks, not anymore. And that's it. We should have all the descriptions there. Previous jobs been all game dev? No, they have not been. The prior one was at Google. The one before that was me making Botland on stream. The one before that was game dev. The one before that was actually all ones before that were not game dev. And yeah, all jobs before that were not game dev. So there were like 3 game dev stints, 2 on stream and then 1 off stream. How do you plan to promote your game to get best possible sales on release? I guess just uploading on Steam is not that profitable. Uploading on Steam could be profitable. Steam does have an incentive to push games that are doing well. But my plan for marketing so far has been primarily YouTube stuff. So I'm reaching out to influencers, and I've generally been like doing 15 emails per week. So for example, today, actually this morning, a person named Yig, I believe, did another video, or did a video. Yeah, so here. I actually really like this video. I will share it in chat. But who knows how many views this sort of thing will get. There's another video that's slated for later this week on the 18th, so 3 days from now. And that's at noon my time, so I'll probably watch that on at my lunch break. And then this person just made a video 2 days ago. So I'm trying to get YouTubers to cover it. I'm reaching out to some Twitch streamers. I'm going to probably eventually run ads. There were the festivals I participated in. The current wish list count, it's not bad. It just probably needs to be like triple what it is. It's 8660. So in the last 10 days, we've gotten 260. So we're getting like 26 wish lists per day, which, like I said, it's not bad. It's just not fantastic or anything. We'll have mod support. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not planning on it, at least. A lot of the sorts of things, I kind of talk about this game dev. Like expectations from gamers are through the roof right now. So originally, this game was just supposed to be like regular mode. You play for 5 hours and you're done. You don't want to replay it. That's what the plan was. And a bunch of people played and they're like, oh, I can't wait to put 40 hours in this game. And I can't wait to see what I can do for the next like months of me playing this. And I was like, man, I should probably make some kind of replayable mode. So that's what led to challenge mode. And then there's all the questions that people have about like, oh, okay, well, you had PvP, will you have leaderboards, will you have, this is not, I'm not saying this in like a negative way, but yeah, will you have mods, will you have, people have asked about any sort of extra feature you might have here. And it's like, it's just not intended to be that kind of game. So mods for any game could just pop up without you supporting them or not. And if that happens, I don't know, we'll see what the mods are. But if everyone's clamoring for mods, I'm not sure if I'd still want to go the modding route versus just changing content in the way I kind of already had planned. Hey, TJ. Yeah, Skeleseller wrote Battle Royale. Sandboxing mods is a big ordeal. I think there are a lot of issues with supporting mods. For one, like to even want mods as a dev means that your base game did very well. Or I guess there's like a fringe case here, which is that, or there's some glaring issue that a mod fixes that you don't fix yourself for some reason. I don't know what that would be. That's why I said this is a fringe case. But like, imagine a moddable game out there like Terraria. Terraria sold like, I don't know, 10 million copies or something, or north of that. So like having mods probably makes sense because now you have that attached player base that might want to go play more and might want to buy copies for their friends. But let's say it sold 10 copies. It's like mods aren't going to turn that into 10 million. Like making the game better would turn that into 10 million. Okay, so the description should now match what you get. So let's make sure they do. So start with the farm and all farming perks maxed out. Start with 2 extra adventurers. All starting adventurers get 3 battle perks. Start with 4 extra workers. Start with perks to improve industriousness of your town. Start with the garbage slime and all of its perks maxed out. Start with the enchanter and all enchanting perks maxed out. Start with a warehouse and all shops at maximum capacity. Start with the treasure room and key storage and all treasure perks maxed out. Start with a fishing pond and all fishing perks maxed out. Start with 15 random town perks. Okay, cool. Player base usually contain enough people to have some that are experienced enough to reverse engineer whatever's needed. Yeah. And I've heard different things about even the modded. What's that button? Code review. I accidentally clicked it and it didn't do anything. What? What is this button for if it's not going to do anything? Maybe it's because the game is running? But that's new. I'm used to clicking the leftmost button, and the leftmost button is now different. So I'm going to click this again. Is it going to actually do anything? Okay, there is a loading bar here. So maybe it's just taking a long time. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't switch to a different view and then tell you what it's doing. I don't even want it to code review this. I just want to see what it's going to do. Oh, there's a stop button here now? What does this say? Code review cancel. I wonder how long this is supposed to take. Oh, code review generation failed. Okay, that answers that question. Whoops. I wonder how that's possible that it fails. I wanted to look at the log, but I don't want to do it on screen. I guess I could have enabled my privacy thing. All right, well, I'm going to do this off screen for now. Let's see if it pops up this time. Found that button and it took so long just to process my small amount of website code. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised there's no, like, other than that loading bar, there's no, like, this is how long it's going to take. Here's an estimate, or here's what it's done so far. So I'm guessing it's going to fail again. Sorry, I know this is boring. I'm waiting for something to happen here. And if it does fail, I can click view log this time because it's off screen. Oh, it is taking its sweet time. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it actually worked. Huh, look at this. Okay, so what does it say? Fishing pond spicy cooking appears in both farming and fishing. This is likely a copy-paste error since spicy cooking seems more appropriate for fishing than farming. It's not a mistake. Even though this does have fishing pond on it. It's just where it shows up in normal mode. Anyway, discard and go to next. What's the next thing it tells me about? The magic number 15 should be extracted. Yeah, sure. We can do that. This cast will throw an invalid cast exception. This isn't the problem. Yeah, I'm just going to discard that. Anyway, interesting. Yeah. Okay, so we changed the description of all of these things. I'm not going to read them again. I already read them once. This is added to here, though. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. This is... Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, this is correct. Granted these perks. Sounds good. Good, 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 good. Yeah, so we've just thrown the balance into a nosedive. Okay, so revamp specializations. All of them now grant much more than they used to. E.g. for farming, instead of granting 3 level 1 perks, we now grant every farming perk. We no longer grant 3 random perks for each specialization. This was so that the specializations truly feel different. It will probably tank the balance for a bit, because I'm sure that almost all of them are too powerful. Since I was able to win with like 10 fewer perks before. Yeah, cool. Caught some arguably useful stuff. Mostly a lot of misunderstanding. Yeah, I always kind of wonder, like, if it catches one real error and there's a bunch of noise, but no human would have caught that error, is it worthwhile to run still? Because, like, let's say I did have a copy paste error there. Like, I wouldn't have noticed probably. And I don't even think players would know that it's a bug. So, yeah, it could still be worth it. Runtime would be negligible. If you delete the database, you don't need to call into the database anymore. Oh god, I don't like that this is the leftmost button though. For I don't know how many years now I've been clicking the leftmost button to open my changes. Now I have to click the second leftmost. Ugh. My life is miserable now. VS Code has ruined things. All right, let's commit this. All right, so that's done. Next up is add difficulty levels. All right, well, this is gonna be quite the task. So let's just try to take it one step at a time. So farming mode. On medium difficulty, it says you can't build the pond. On hard mode, enemies deal more damage. And on very hard mode, seeds cost more in terms of potion value. And the treasure room is nerfed. Will simply lead to more review fatigue. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. And that's where I think adding more AI to the mix might actually help. Like if AI verified the output of another AI. So it makes a change and then it tests for you and it will only say that this is a good change if another AI agrees and if the tests all passed or something. Okay, so now that we've coded this, let me go into this and see what it feels like because I'm not sure if this is going to be difficult enough. We're probably going to need to have, honestly, I'm probably just going to need to test every single difficulty. So we just started with a full farm. We're gonna, I don't know, send a couple of adventurers into battle. And sure, send the golem in. So the whole point is you should be able to go ham on battle perks. We don't have any potions yet. We should hopefully get some potions there. Okay, so start planting some of these crops. The crops are immediately like potentially more valuable than they ever were, and they grow faster. I guess let's turn on the music while I'm doing this. By the way, I think I'm pretty much finished composing the next town track. So at some point, I gotta put that in FL Studio. Okay, this is almost done, 74%. Just gonna let that disappear. Hey, tripod. Do the sounds and art yourself? No, neither. If you check out the credits command, you'll see who did all that. All right, so we already have enough for a battle perk. All right, that's pretty decent actually. Sure, we'll take it. We're getting more crops. Do we have enough for another one? Yes, we do. We do not have any of these characters. But I'm going to take the mage, and we're going to hopefully get the mage offered to us. Yeah, so this is kind of interesting to start with a farm at full and already be getting like a crazy amount of level ups that we probably shouldn't have been getting. I'm going to take that one. We need 20 sludge next. I do not have... I almost have enough money for the next adventurer. We don't have any of these either. Okay, well, let's hold off then until we get the adventure choice. Now we got the adventure choice. Hire. I'll go for... Well, what are we offered here? None of them. Okay, let's go with the witch doctor then. Yeah, put that up there. Put that up there. And send the witch doctor into battle. We need a ton of potions. Upfront costs or royalties. In this particular case, it's based on the revenue of the game, and we haven't actually sorted out all the details of that yet. I gotta do that. All right, just... Oh, whoops, I never picked this. All right, what do I want? Let's go with that, I guess. Okay, that's all right, I suppose. Clicking the little berries and mushrooms, yeah. The game never tells you about that, but I was hoping eventually to add in a perk that says, like, apples are worth more, and you're like, what? What are apples? Like, I've never seen an apple in the game. All right, nice. Level 5, I didn't get it till the last 2, yeah. That's roguelike games for you, I guess. I wanted to test this for at least a little bit to see how much is the run change at the beginning. And actually, even though we're getting more battle perks, they're not necessarily for adventures that we want. Now we're never selling potions because they're all just pumped into here. In fact, I should probably stop these battles. So once they win that one, we can go to a different location. Yeah. So put this into here and this into here and take you out and take you out and put you into the volcano. They're all level 2. That is actually an improvement. And we can get another battle perk for adventures we don't have. All right, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, so it kind of makes me wonder what would my next building even be in this mode. I kind of want another adventurer next. I think this mode is... Okay, it's got to be easier than it was, but it's still not like it's drastically easier. And yeah, I guess the fishing pond is probably the best thing to invest in next because it shares... Excuse me, it shares the potion inputs. Yeah. We don't have enough for that. Alright, so let's see if we can build the fishing pond. We can't. Alright, let's get the warehouse, I guess. Maybe a couple town perks. Maybe this. Alright, I'm finally gonna get the farm maxed there. Nice. Put that up there. Get our next battle perk. That's not bad. These adventures aren't doing so hot. Okay, so right off the bat, what I'm thinking here is this hasn't super drastically changed my decisions. Like, yeah, I am putting more into potions and stuff, but I'm still otherwise making the same choices. So I guess this on its own does not suffice for run variety. Oh, that would have just been a happy thing if it happened that way. It wasn't what I was trying to solve on its own. Oh my god, I gotta get the rogue now. They're so good. Ooh, nice pumpkins. Alright, let's dump these in here. You know what? Yeah, let's have them go over there and sell the first potion in the entire mode. Good. Good, good, good. Yeah, let's go with the archer one. I should really hire another adventurer. 75? I don't have that kind of money. Should we lean into this more and make battle perks cost less? I guess the whole point of the farm is that you're getting more and more sludge. But it feels like early on it helps and it doesn't really scale all that well. Yeah, I'm not sure. Alright, we can almost hire another adventurer. Still can't yet. Lower difficulty generally falls in the same mindset, but the higher difficulty forces a specific approach. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to do. Oh god. We've been offered terrible choices. Alright, whatever. Let's put you into there. That's pretty good. So now whenever the golem gets hit, they're doing a bunch of return damage. How much is that? 14. And the golem does have occasional taunt. So the battle should be won faster. Yeah, nice. Alright, I don't want to complete the run here, because we already know that it's winnable. I just want to see what we were going to do for difficulty. That's pretty decent. Huh. Yeah. I guess building the next thing would be good. Fishing pond. Yeah, so getting the fishing pond at least means that your potions are going toward multiple things, which feels better. But if the point of farming mode is I'm going to cut that out, then you wouldn't be able to do that, obviously. That's why we were testing this. Is this RPG Maker? No, this is Godot. You think you'd be adding more areas? Yeah, for regular mode, almost certainly. For challenge mode, I kind of want just the main map to be good enough. But yeah, for regular mode, there's going to be more content. Probably double the number of locations, like 5 more bosses, and that might be it. And hey, who cares? I don't know if I said that already. Love the music. Stopped at a long light. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I have another track that I'm working on that maybe I'll do a stream in the next like couple weeks, and we'll get that one done. All right, we need to go fishing here. Let's send them into the fishing pond. We don't have flimsy fish though, so it's going to take them a while. Whoops. There. All right, so we got some battle perks. Still, for no characters we actually care about. I mean, I guess this isn't too bad. This also isn't too bad. You can hire another adventurer. The mage! We finally got them. Alright, so send the mage into here for now, since they're otherwise not going to be doing anything. We need more customers, and we need to sell a blue potion. I guess we can turn this on. Yeah, we need items. So thanks to spicy cooking, the fishing pond is actually worth a decent amount. I don't know if we should cut that out as a strategy because of that. Go buy something! Yes, that's right. That's right. Here come customers who are going to tip. These customers know what's up. Yeah, nice. We got a good chunk of wisdom sludge there. Let's send them into here and send... Oh, God. Crit level 2. If only I had the rogue. Okay, yeah, the rogue's getting super powerful over here. We don't even have them. Hey, Paleface. Alright, ditch all these. We probably don't need you to be helping anymore, do we, mage? No, we don't. They're winning this battle pretty handily. That's nice. Yeah, but as mentioned, this is still pretty similar to how the other run was going. Working from home. Had a long time since I worked here on a Friday. Oh yeah, you normally go to your brother's place, right? Wait, no. I don't want to do that. Yeah, sure, whatever. Alright, let's build something else. Garbage slime. You want a regular bow? Alright, we can do that. We haven't gotten enough town perks, I guess. That'd be pretty good. Hey, boots. Hey, lots of items. Okay, I like this. I think this is interesting. I want to see where this takes us, but I think we should probably stop playing the game now and get back to making the game. But I want to keep going. I have so much money now. Okay, let's stop it. Played for 2 hours. It was fun. Cool. All right, so what did we learn? The pond is probably the most desirable building after the farm in farm spec because your potions are doing double duty. And it almost feels like it starts slower because you dump all potions into the farm and can't fill it fast enough. So you lose all of that income. You don't lose it. I mean, you could turn this off. Is swapping something you thought about? Yeah. We need to do that. Brother wants me to stay and he's going to come pick me up to go look for houses to the state left of us. Left of us. I like that. Short term, he wants to move there with my stepmom and the 4 boys. Long term, he wants me to move in too. Wow. Yeah, big move. How do you feel about it? What else did we learn from this? Battle perks cost too much. I don't know if that's actually something. Okay, so what do we write for difficulty here? You can't build the pond was medium mode. Honestly, I feel like that's too much of a restriction. It is difficult, but maybe that should be very hard mode. Yeah, like we swap this to here and we put this over here. Seeds cost more. Treasure room is nerfed. Maybe the treasure room gets nerfed over here. And enemies deal more damage. That could be in medium mode, I guess. Okay, that's what I think we should start with at least. I don't know if this will be fun. Yeah. The move was good. Yeah. Wow. Well, like I said, big move. Okay, so now we got to figure out how we're going to code this stuff. Because right now, all we have is medium and hard right here. We've got to expose 4 different difficulties, and hover for details needs to show different things. So let's go do this. So manifest, I guess we don't even need to write it to do thing for this. There's the difficulty ID. We have medium, hard. So we're going to make it easy, medium, hard, and very hard. All right, so let's try to think of what this is all for. It's for the bone system, which is for the business optimization via new expansions. So would you say that you want an easy business? I guess you could still categorize it as easy or hard. So yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't think we need to come up with like femur level or something. Yeah, I think easy, medium, hard, very hard. I think it's pretty good. Does this open up room for us to rename these things later? I guess we could always recategorize them. So we could rename easy to very easy to open up another space. And then we'd have easy and then medium, hard, and very hard. If we ever want more than that, we probably just change the numbers, like level 1 through 6. So yeah, I think this is a good enough starting point. Okay, I'm happy with that. So manifest all of the difficulty IDs. That's done. Next up is show buttons for all of the IDs. And then allow for different tooltips based on the specialization that you've chosen. So show buttons for all of them. Where do we do this? Presumably we just hard-coded them in here. Yeah. As we have medium and hard. So we need to add a button for easy. And then very hard. And then rename these. And rename this easy. Now the tooltips need to be dynamic. So we need to make these all selectable. So we'll call this easy difficulty tooltip. Let's just copy paste that over to all of these. And then rename just the first word, medium, hard, very hard. Okay, make those findable by name, or unique, I mean. There we go. And then we can't set any of these over here. So I'll just say set via code, and we'll plug that in on all of these. So what are the things that the difficulties do? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. They change the objective, they change the time, and they change some constraints. And they should probably be in the same order every time. So yeah, maybe we start with, well, they should probably be in the same order that they're in once you're in the game, right? So what does that look like? It is the objective first and then the time. So yeah, objective, time, constraint. Sounds good. Show objective, time, constraints. Constraints should always be in the same order. All right, so show buttons for all of them we've done. Now for the new challenge run screen, we had a medium difficulty and a hard difficulty. So we are also going to need easy and very hard. Okay. So when you press it, we set the selected difficulty. We update the start button state. That's all fine. Now we need to also update the tooltip based on which specialization you've chosen. And if you haven't chosen a specialization, you can't actually choose a difficulty yet, I guess. Or maybe we have a, oh, let me think about this. So update start button state and like selected a specialization. Maybe this should just say specialization ID in here, and then this stuff should be moved somewhere else, so that this is literally just selected a specialization. And then just delete all that. Sounds good. Private void, selected specialization, spec ID, spec ID. All right. So set this here, rename those. This isn't needed. And now we need to update the tooltip on the difficulty buttons. So we'll say update difficulty tooltips. And we should do this as soon as we initialize this thing. Yeah, here. And maybe we should just force you to have one of these selected by default. Like it picks farming and easy by default or something. In the future, it'll save whatever you've chosen in the past. But the reason it might be nice to do that is so that, well, actually, wait, do tooltips show on buttons that are disabled? I don't actually know if they do. All right, let's get all the tooltips. Where do we store these? No overload matches. Oh, right. Okay, so private dictionary difficulty ID to a tooltip on parent. Difficulty tooltips. I guess we make this read only. And then read only stuff goes at the top, right? And then we set this in here. So when we go through these button difficulties, we do this. Difficulty ID equals button.getChildren of type tooltip on parent first. Yeah, sounds good. Oh, and then we need to set. Oh, no, it's right there. Oh, neat. Well, then we can just do this. First or default? I just want first. And then delete this. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to set the difficulty tooltips like that. So for each. Yeah, but not like that. Difficulty ID tooltip on parent. Okay, so tooltip dot set text. And we could just do set text, I guess, or even just text equals. But set text and update is technically correct. Hello world. All right, let's try that. So we're not doing anything with the difficulty. We're not doing anything with the specialization yet. Just gonna say hello world. And the reason I'm testing this is because when they're disabled, I don't know what happens. Whoops. They're not disabled. Oh, because you could have chosen this before. Yeah. So there are two options here. I'm not sure what's better. Option one is show a tooltip like pick a specialization to see what hard mode is in that spec. Obviously the text would be better. And option two would be disable the difficulty buttons until you've chosen a spec. I guess there's option three is select a spec by default. I kind of like option three. That way we don't need some special state here. Yeah. So if nothing else, then just select selected specialization equals, why am I even doing this here? Oh, yeah, we can do it. Wait. Update start button state. Shouldn't we should do this in a way that triggers the signal. Yeah. So how do we do that? Buttons to specializations. What is this? A string to a specialization ID? How about we just do this? If selected specialization is none, then invoke that button, which I don't know how you do. Set pressed. I don't want set pressed no signal. I want whatever this is with a signal. What is that called? Changes that, emitting that. Use this when you want to change the state of the button without setting. How do you... What's the opposite of this? Toggled? Toggle mode? Oh God, there's a way to do this. I don't know what it's called though. And oh, set press, it's right there. I thought I searched for that. Oh, well that's easy. Okay. And then I don't think this is even needed, is it? The difficulty tooltip things won't exist yet. So technically, we would need to do this differently, wouldn't we? Yeah. So let's just do button first specialization button equals null. And just do that. And then do this at the end of all of this. First specialization button. Okay. Dereference of possibly null value. Not anymore. Okay, so now farming should be selected by default. And the tooltips are still going to say hello world because I should have changed that. But yeah, and let's not have it dump us into this mode. So how about we have it print this plus the selected specialization ID? Is that? Yep, that's right. And then let's go change something dumps us into the challenge mode. Title screen main. Skip title screen. Yeah, false. All right, so now hopefully we end up on the title screen. And this should say, yeah, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Shouldn't the signal have been hit? Use compound assignment. Is that not? How do you do this? Is it question mark equal? Oh, it is. Okay, my bad. Yeah. And yeah, thanks, Mysterious. So why is this not working the way I want it to? When pressed is hit, we call into this. This calls update difficulty tooltips. That doesn't seem to be happening, but I'm not sure why it's not happening. Let's put a breakpoint there and rerun this. It should be that that breakpoint should get hit immediately. And it's not. Huh, I wonder why. I wonder why indeed. What happens when we click a different one? Then it gets hit. Why is that not happening? Is it calling set press before the signal is attached? It wouldn't be doing that. I think this is there's something special about toggle buttons. I think it's like set toggled is what I need to be calling. Or set, darn it, I don't remember what it is. Set toggle mode. Toggle mode. Makes the button flip state between pressed and unpressed each time its area is clicked. So we need to change toggle mode. Nothing. I've never done this in the rest of my code. Does the event fire when you set the press state? I think it would fire only when you trigger the press. There's set pressed and there's set pressed no signal. But I think this type of button works differently, and I don't remember how it works exactly. So it's not actually pressed that I want. It's some like, yeah, I don't know what it is. Set item checked. That's not what we want. There's no toggle. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I know we've done this somewhere else. I guess we just find out where the somewhere else is. Yeah, like Auto Battle does it, I think. All right, so let's look at that auto battle. Where even is that? End battle screen, auto battle. Well, look at that. There's auto battle, no signal. This is an icon toggle button. This technically isn't the same as a checkbox or a radio button, which I don't know where else we even use radio buttons in the game. Let me try to think about this. Where would we have put them? Only tabs kind of have them, but tabs probably have their own thing built in. Does this have toggle mode set? Oh my goodness, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's go look at this. What did I... This has toggle mode set to true. Press down or toggle. Changing the value of button press will result in toggled being emitted. Ah, I see. So it's the wrong event. I want the toggled event. So set pressed is fine. I just need to change this to toggled, which is probably where the rest of this stuff exists. Yeah, and I'm guessing that takes in a Boolean that we just ignore. Okay, does that work now? Does that do everything I want? I remember this being confusing, buttons being pressed or toggled. Yes, so now it's being hit immediately. That's what I want. And does it get hit when I click something else now? So this should say farming. It does. Then this should say adventuring. Yeah, nice. Now it worked. Yeah, so that was the problem. And like I said, it's just a peculiarity of this that I had the wrong thing. And if we searched for this in the code base, we'd find it. I just didn't realize we had the wrong event. I thought we were calling the wrong function. Anyway, looking good. So technically, this is called twice, I believe. Once when this thing is toggled on and once when it's toggled off. So if I were to put a breakpoint here, I think it'll get hit twice whenever we click. Once, twice, yeah. So we do need to know whether this thing is toggled on or not. And I'm guessing that's what the first thing is here. Toggled emits. Yeah, toggled on argument. Toggled on. We could just do that. Bool. Oh, no, we can't. What am I doing? Toggled on. If toggled on. What am I missing now here? I'm going to get this. There, finally. Okay. Now it only get once per thing, although apparently the toggled off was triggered first, so it was like we had done this way the whole time. But we get hit once there and then once here. Yep, perfect. And it should show the tooltips the way that it was before, right? Industry. Yep. All right, cool. So the next thing we need to do is make this show the proper text for each specialization. So we need allow for different tooltips. So we need to design how the code for challenge mode constraints will work. In farming mode, maybe you can't build the pond. So the tooltip needs to know how to render this, and the game needs to know that this isn't allowed. So we need some set of constraints somewhere. And I think I had a plan for this. I think in challenge mode configuration, we can have a list of like challenge mode. I don't necessarily want to call them constraints because these could be positives in the future. Although positives, I guess, should show in your perks menu maybe. And constraints probably shouldn't. Maybe we do just start it as constraints for now. And if we find out that they shouldn't be constraints, that we change it. So we have a list of challenge mode constraints, and then we just print out what those things are. Each one has a toString. And then when we, well, actually, there's probably a dictionary of like challenge. Well, I don't know. We could have a look up. And then we modify challenge mode configuration so that we can check for the existence of any particular constraint. So for example, when it comes to generating the building perks, we take in the town, we can then check the configuration to see, is the pond even allowed? And if not, just remove it. Yeah, that should be pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to code this. So I think the design is fine. I think we just have to implement it. Implement challenge mode constraint. Maybe test the design first. Test the code design against the game design to make sure it'll work for everything. Okay, yeah. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, quick instructions for those who've never seen this. Just type join in Twitch chat if you want to play, and then jump up to the top. It's a competition. It starts in 30 seconds. You can join at any time, I guess. And yeah, look at these little examples here. So J30 will jump to the right. J-45 will jump to the left. Have fun. I'll be right back. Hello, hello. I hope you had fun. Let me see something. Okay, yeah. Close the game. Okay, so we talked about this just before I took my break. We want to test the code design and make sure this will work. So enemies deal more damage. I guess all of this is going to be pulled from the challenge mode configuration, which is already public and actually static as well. So that anything anywhere could just fetch this thing, check to see if a condition is true, and then apply like double the enemy life. So yeah, I can't imagine this ever breaking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. It's just a anyway. I'm just gonna delete this. Okay, so code the challenge mode constraint. First of all, what is it? It's gonna be an ID, I guess. In fact, that's probably all it's gonna be, unless we need to parameterize these. And if we do need to parameterize these, we could just make different IDs. It's really just an ID. If we need to parameterize these eventually, we could just make more IDs, e.g. enemy life, like well, you can't say 2x enemy life. Enemy life increase 2x. And enemy life increase 3x. So if you had, let's say, 40 different numbers that you wanted to use, you just make a parameter for them. But if all they're going to be is literally like 2 of these, maybe 3 or something, then I think just having IDs at first is the fastest way to code them. So I guess let's look through and see how many of these do we suspect we'll have. Like deal more damage. Yeah, we just have the one thing here. Seeds cost more in terms of potion value. Yeah, so seeds cost more. You can't build the pond. Maybe there could be a constraint that's like you can't build buildings, and then you look through that to figure out what they are. But I think the ID way is the best. Hey, Leap Year. New word of the day is parameterize. Yeah. Yeah, so to be clear here, what we're talking about is like, let's say you did have something like enemy health increase. Well, like how much is it increasing by? So maybe it goes up by 5, or maybe it goes by 10 or 15 or something. So what you do in terms of code is you'd probably make something like this, like public class enemy health increase in amount, and then you'd store off the amount somewhere. So you do something like this. So here's the code that would now make a parameter out of the amount and then store it so that we could later fetch it. And then in order to use this, you'd make a new enemy health increase with like, let's say 15, and then you'd pass that around somewhere. What I'm proposing here is we don't have a parameter. We just have enemy health increase by 15. And now wherever we use this, you just kind of understand that the number is 15. So it's sort of cutting a corner, but if we never end up needing different parameters, it's not really cutting a corner. And we could refactor the code anyway. And I pretty much had to do this when it came down to battle perks. The way battle perks originally worked is that all of the perks had one value in them. And it turned out that didn't work for all of them. So skills, for example, skills are not just a single value. It's a level for a specific ability. And you might have multiple abilities. So maybe there are multiple levels. So we need to store a dictionary instead. And yeah, I refactored all of that and it ended up being fine. So yeah, I think this will be fine too. So let's go to challenge mode, I guess difficulty ID, and we'll store this as challenge mode constraint ID. Challenge mode constraint ID. Make sure we type that correctly. So none is 0, and let's set, what are we doing here? More enemies deal more damage. Oh wait, will this work? Because we also need something that's going to localize these things. So there's got to be like a git description somewhere. I mean, that's literally all that class would be doing. Yeah. Have static methods or something, yeah. Let me think about this. We also need a tooltip for these. And that should be localized. Although we could just have them all. You're gonna have a giant switch case statement. I don't want to do that though. I think it's better to have some dictionary somewhere of the constraints to their tooltips. So we should just manifest all these things in one spot. Yeah, and like I said, I'm always happy to explain things if you ever want me to. At least, I mean, especially things that are salient to the stream. Like I'm talking about this thing right now, so explaining it is pretty natural. But honestly, people have asked over the years things that are unrelated to this stream, and I still tend to just clarify it for them because I do want to help out. Okay, so we do this. The last place we did this was, what was the last thing we localized for this stuff? I guess perks, but we didn't really. Yeah, there's a 2-string here. And I made this. I think the problem that we have is there's an all battle perks somewhere. There is not. Okay. Do we search for... There's something I did here with reflection. And it's only when you go to generate battle perks. And I don't want to keep using more reflection for this stuff. What is going on there? Is abstract. Yeah, here it is. Battle perk choice generator. We cache a dictionary of all the battle perks that are possible by using reflection to figure out the ones that aren't abstract. I don't want to have to do this. I guess we could do... There's a code snippet from a while ago that Kevin had made about how we should change our enumerations. I wonder if now's the time to look into that. What is this? There was a... What is it called? A code pen? I think it's a code pen. So I bet if I search for code pen, I'd find it. No. Huh. I don't know where... I don't know where this is written down. Move all collection types, switch to list. Man, I don't know where this is. Yeah. I'll only search for Kevin, I guess. I know Kevin did something here. I don't have it written anywhere. Maybe it was closed. I never did it. That's the thing. So I assumed it would be open, but I might have closed it by just saying, hey, we're not going to do this. I don't see it at all. Well, I could probably find it again. I'll try one more search and then we'll probably give up on this. Yeah, okay, let me take a look through some private messages for a second. Okay, well, it definitely wasn't CodePen. Code Fiddle? I don't know what these sites are called. Oh, man. And I can't search properly. Okay, hang on. Hang on. I do want to see if I can find this because I think this would be reasonable. .NET Fiddle. Okay, so that's what I wanted to find. Is this on my list anywhere? Ah, here it is. Found it. Great. I'm glad I looked for that. I couldn't remember what the name of the website was, so I was searching for the wrong thing the whole time. Hey, Kamitsu. Okay, so it's this, and this is possibly how I want to do things. Let's copy paste everything out of here, put it into here. This isn't using, oh, it is using reflection, but it's using it to store everything into a dictionary. So we're only technically using the reflection once. If not, all data try get value. Actually, it's not doing it once. It's doing it every time. Also, presumably we want to save these things. I want to save them with int numbers. So enumeration ID. Okay, well, I'm very torn. Yeah, I'm very torn on this. Keep track of ID to perk types. And then how do we make one of these? Activate or create instance. Generate battle perk. Are we storing those? Oh, does this have the dictionary? It does. It's just a type though. So at some point we need to, yeah, we need to activate it, which is what we do here. Is this slow? It's something in reflection, isn't it? This is namespace. Huh, I guess it doesn't technically, it uses reflection, but possibly not for whatever's done in here. Create instance. We can't go to the definition of that. All right. Well, the reason I'm caught up right now is because I know that I could do what I'm trying to do here, but I'd probably end up using reflection for it. Anytime you use reflection, it's going to slow things down a little bit. And historically, whenever we needed to do this, we cram it into whenever we load stuff. So it pretty much works out just fine. In fact, I think we have something specifically in the loading screen and now uses the battle perk choice generator. Yeah. Run reflection constructor for challenge mode. So if you're in challenge mode and you hit a loading screen, it's going to do this stuff. And interestingly, it's going to run a static constructor for this. Yeah. So we could just do the same thing for challenge mode constraints. I just think it's a little bit tedious to do that. This is what we do for battle perks. Then we need to use reflection. All right, maybe I just code it. I don't have any better ideas right now. Yeah, I don't have any better ideas. All right, so challenge mode constraint ID we have. We're going to need all of the challenge mode constraints. So something here is going to be like more enemy damage. More enemy damage. So then these would correspond to challenge mode constraints. So I should probably make a new folder here called constraints. Challenge mode constraint. This is going to be the base class. Public abstract class this takes in a challenge mode constraint ID so they can store it. And it's going to have a public abstract string get tooltip. I think that's reasonable. Then this changes to say constraints. All right, why is this red? Why is this red? I think AI wants me to delete it. Okay, I don't know about that. All right, so then we would make a constraint here. So it'd be something like more enemy life constraint. Yeah. So this is not abstract. It's more enemy life. And we do that. And pass in the challenge mode ID. More, oh, it was more enemy damage. So I meant to type. Okay, that's my bad. Yeah, let's say this is damage. And then delete the life one. Yeah. So more enemy damage. I guess constraint is the name. So we don't need to do this. We do need to do this. And we just say something like return enemies do more damage to do fill this in. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So this is our foundation that we now need to build up as we reflect here. Do as AI demands. Is that immersion? This would be for mapping the tooltips to the buttons. Yeah, kind of. Each button, like easy mode, well, let's say very hard, is going to say something like objective, 50 minutes, or so, not 50 minutes, 7,500 gold, time 50 minutes, and then constraints. And that's where this will go in. So like enemies do more damage and you can't build the farm. So these are part of a larger tooltip. This is the whole tooltip. So that's going to be one line in a tooltip is what these things are going to be for. So that's where you'll see like this. Yeah. So now what we need to do is we need to build up all of these constraints based on their IDs. So the battle perk choice generator had these before. I guess we'll make like an all challenge mode constraints class. All challenge mode constraints. I don't necessarily like this. So we're going to save a dictionary of IDs to the constraints. And it's going to look pretty much like how this other class looked. System collections? Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so let's go into the battle perk choice generator. So this was this public static read only, and there were types. I guess that's what we want then, huh? And not the constraints. And type is some reflection thing, no system thing. So IDs to constraints. And then we have a static constructor for this. So this entire thing would be a static class. And that's when we do this stuff, which I strongly dislike. All right. What are you going to do, I guess, right? So we want to select everything that is a challenge mode constraint that is not abstract. And then we go through each thing in here. These are like constraint types. And this is constraint type. And now we make a constraint out of it. And we say duplicate constraint ID. This is not a perk anymore, it's a constraint. And then we set these things. And that's it. All right, run reflection constructor for challenge mode. This is now constructors. Forces the static constructors of this and CCref equals this thing to run. Now, why is that red? Because it's in a different location. We're about to use it anyway, so I guess it won't be red anymore. Yeah, there. And it runs on its own thread, which is nice. It is going to take time, though. Probably like 150 milliseconds or something. It's not too bad when it's on a loading screen, like adding a 1/6 of a second. But yeah, ideally we eventually do this without the reflection. Okay, so now what we can do with all of that code that I just had is we can now go back to the new challenge run screen and we can know which difficulties have which constraints. We're going to need to manifest those somewhere. So ideally what we have is like a challenge mode specialization data. And it's going to contain a dictionary of difficulty IDs to a hash set of challenge mode constraint IDs. Yeah. And no, that's not the full thing though. It's got to contain like a difficulty data. Yeah, and difficulty data is going to contain this. constraints. It's going to contain an objective, which for now can just be a gold amount, gold objective, and then a time amount, time limit. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I like that. Is this all good? So challenge mode, specialization data, and then difficulty data. Yeah, this is pretty reasonable. Let's go code this stuff. So this is going to be a record struct with a dictionary. Do we ever do those? Maybe. They're a list. Do we ever have a dictionary? I don't know why it'd be any different. No, we do. Right there. Okay. Well, let's copy this. And save this somewhere. So challenge mode. I don't even remember what we're calling this. Probably would have been good to refresh my memory before opening that dialog. We're calling it challenge mode specialization data. Okay, you know what? We don't need to come up with a name if we just write the name ahead of time. Challenge mode specialization data. And then why did whatever I copied this from have anything more here? Hey, Suyash. I'm doing well. How are you doing? I had a 2 string that it overrode. Okay, that's reasonable enough. We need this stuff. So I hang on a second. Do you need to even have curly braces? No, you don't. All right, so we can just put a semicolon there and then do this. And what is the opposite of restore? Disable? I don't know. It is disable. Nice. Okay, so now we save this as challenge mode specialization data, which should probably, yeah, I guess it's fine to go there. Yeah. Why record struct over plain record? Is there such thing as a plain record? I thought there were just record structs and record classes. I mean, we're only ever going to pass these by value. Huh. I guess I never knew. Define a reference type, or sorry, yeah, reference, what am I talking about? Built-in functionality for encapsulating data. Record class is synonym. Oh, I see. Record is a record class. Yeah, in this case, we just don't have any other methods on it. And whether or not this is a value or reference doesn't really matter either. I guess I wasn't thinking too much about this, but it's pretty much just like we've done this up until now, and I trust that past me had a reason for this. I'll have to think about it after I've coded this. I want to get the syntax, or sorry, the context out of my head right now that I've got there. But yeah, welcome in, Doc. Never understood what it's really for in C#. Looks like just a regular struct. So it lets you, it's syntactic sugar for having to define properties for everything, I believe. And probably nothing more. So basically, like, we say in its constructor here that we have simulation time passed in. And now it's like it added in this bit here, double simulation time get set equals the parameter that we would have passed in. So I think it's just saving you some typing. All right, this needs a namespace. I don't even think we do anything special for this. Challenge mode. Okay, so the specialization data is going to contain this, a dictionary of difficulty ID to difficulty data. Difficulties, I guess. Sure, that's a pretty reasonable name for that. I think they're pretty reasonable, especially if all you're ever doing is holding data. That's where record comes in for that. Okay, so this looks pretty good. We do not intentionally want to capitalize that. And then the next thing we want to do is make this data contain all this stuff. So let's make a new file. And similarly, we're going to copy paste this. And we're going to make a difficulty data that contains gold objective, time limit, and the constraints. I want all of these things to be capitalized. Whoops. And I want to save this whole thing as difficulty data in the same folder. All right, so now we're finally cooking here, right? This should just exist. Hooray. So now we need to manifest all of the specialization data for all the specializations that we have. And I guess we can store that like all challenge mode specialization data. So this is going to be a public static class, which is going to contain a dictionary of specialization. Why is it not auto-completing any of this stuff? Yeah, that's pretty much what I want. But now we need to just hard code these in directly. So like we'll just do whatever we did here. Yeah. Static, read only. This is like underscore data, I guess. All right, we're getting somewhere. So specialization for farming is going to be a new data object that has what exactly? Love when this stuff breaks. Difficulties. So dictionary of difficulty ID to difficulty data. So a new dictionary of, yeah, difficulty ID to difficulty data. So the data here, we're going to set 7,500. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I'm just going to write 60 for that. And then a whole bunch of constraints. So for this, we'll have none, I suppose. And that's our simplest possible way of writing this stuff. So it looks super ugly right now. Once we get more of these, it'll look a little better. In fact, let's put some more in so that it starts looking a little better. So adventuring, there, that looks better. And then let's put in a couple other difficulties. We need something for all these anyway. I just don't want it to autocomplete. Yeah, perfect, great. All right, so that's our data. Now we need a get function for this, like what I did down here. And we need a validator for this too. The validator should only run when we're in challenge mode or something, or in debug mode. All right, so validate all. I'll just say validate data. So we want to make sure that every specialization has all of the keys here. And then we want every specialization itself. So this is going to be like this. And then for each specialization ID, I guess all we care about are the datas. Yeah, what am I doing? What do we care about that? Hello? Yeah, good. All right, so go through all the values now and then validate that these have all keys. This would, yeah, this would also work, I believe. Difficulty data? It's not difficulty data. It's difficulties. All right, then a getter for this. Hey, Matt, are you done with your stuff for today? Dinner time. All right, nice. Enjoy your dinner. Hope you have a good one. I'm actually not totally sure what I'm going to be eating. Okay, so what do we actually want out of this? I guess we want the challenge mode specialization data, and we're going to get this based on specialization ID. So it's just a thin wrapper around the dictionary thing that we have here. Yeah. Data specialization ID. All right, I think we've coded almost all of this. Why is this yellow? Use an immutable collection or reduce the accessibility. Oh, yeah. That was never supposed to be public. 3 down, but I added 1 more, so 3 to 4 more left. Okay, that's not bad, though, as far as number of hours remaining, because you did 1 per hour. So I guess you've got another 3 hours. But maybe you'll get faster as you do them. I don't know if it's that kind of task. All right, before I move further than this, let's go figure out where these numbers are supposed to be pulled from. So yeah, this target cumulative money earned. We have, I'll just write a note to get rid of this. Yeah, where'd that go? Get rid of these. And then where's the time? Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I guess everything's static and we can fetch the constraints easily enough. Yeah. Change this to pull the new times in from the specialization data rather than being hard coded there. All right, well, what are these numbers? 45, 35. So they're numbers of minutes. So every 60 that I wrote here, let's change to 45. And then these two will change to 35. Do the hash share the same architecture? Okay, nice, 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 nice. Everything's going well here. I wanted to do pretty much one thing today, and we're on track, I think, for doing it. But there's still a lot of tasks left as part of this. So let me see if I can even sort of prove that any of this is working. We're going to go into, where did I validate the data? Validate dictionary has all keys. Yeah, here. So this, something needs to call this. And it's whatever this thing calls. Yeah. So this is only done on a, wait, how does this work? On release builds, we won't have test specific classes, which will fail at least one validator. And don't run on exported builds in case we export a debug build. Okay, so it should be safe to just call this here. All challenge modes specialization data. I don't know. Is that even the name of this thing? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. All right, so this should fail immediately because I only defined 2 specializations, only 2 difficulties. So it's going to say on the first one that you need 2 more difficulties, I think. The fact that it didn't fail is baffling. Let's put a breakpoint there. Is that even being hit? It isn't. Okay, that's also baffling. Is this being hit? Validate everything? Oh, maybe it's only when you start a game. I never thought about that. It's kind of stupid because it's affects before you started a game. But if I click this and then this, it's probably going to break. Okay, something is going very wrong. Where is validate everything called? Apparently run debug functions. It's in init. Is there something in here that's stopping it from doing everything? It is when the town starts. Maybe it's because we hit an error before we even got to call this. No minutes per challenge for difficulty easy. What? No minutes per challenge? What does that even mean? Oh, wow. Yeah, because I never coded that. Okie dokie. Easy. Very hard. I'm expecting errors here, by the way. There's no way I coded this correctly because I didn't even try to code it all. But it should produce more sensible errors when I click new game here. So it should break in. It probably did. Yep. Okay, so that's good. Then that's good. Then that's good. And then it should produce something that makes sense. Missing data for the following keys. Yep. Yeah. So this is, we gotta either plug in fake data or we gotta turn off the validator here. And we're gonna need all of the real data eventually. So let's start with fake data. I think that's the easier way to go. Where is any of that fake data? There it is. Also, these are technically cumulative constraints, although they don't have to be. So I don't know if we should code that with the assumption that they will be. So let's say hard, very hard. And then just copy paste this for everything. So how many specializations did I say we have? 9. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I recognize there's a lot of copy pasting, but all of these things should be very different, except for maybe the objectives. Those might stay pretty much the same. So let's try to get these in the same order that we had them in. Industry, garbage enjoyer. Enchanting, storage enthusiast. And one of the last 3. Pirate fishing chaos. Pirate fishing chaos. Okay, so now we should have no errors. Let's try it out. Nothing's going to work. We just won't have any errors. All right, click new game. Should not break anywhere. Yep, cool. Now, if I were to delete a difficulty, let's say we turn off medium enchanting, it should produce an error when I click new game because it should detect that I have not defined all of the difficulty levels. And in the real game, it wouldn't make sense. Like, what would it mean to not have medium mode? Yeah, so did it say that? Missing data for the following keys, medium. Yeah, I mean, that's probably good enough. I know that it's not obvious which key is missing, but it's guaranteed to repro every single time. So you would just go into here and put a breakpoint and then figure out which dictionary it is. In fact, you know what we could probably do is use reflection to figure out what the name of the value was. Oh, we have the call stack. Yeah, it's not important. I don't think it's important. So that's if we had forgotten one of these. We're gonna act like we have not forgotten one of these. And now we need to start coding in some of the constraints. And this should go faster now, I think. Yeah, so how do we do this? We get the specialization data. Wow, it's pretty much just filling it all in for me. And now we need to get the difficulty data. And then we need to form a tooltip out of that data. This should know how to form its own tooltip, right? It has an objective, a time limit, constraints. Yeah, I think it should know how to form its own tooltip. Okay. So we will make a public override string to string. Hello there. I am an overridden function. Not all code paths return a value. Yes, let's run it. Okay, so we're done with that. Now we go back to this. Difficulty data is there, and we just set our tooltip to this dot toString, and it should say whatever garbage I just typed out. Like, hello, I'm an overridden function. I just want to build this up one step at a time rather than find out I did something wrong at the first. Yeah, there, cool. Yeah. All right, should be easy enough to now change. So this is going to print out however I had it written down in this document. Objective, time, and then constraints. I don't know how I want to... Let's just render it as easily as possible for now. So return ul/ul. So objective, earn gold objective, game constants dot money symbol. So earn a certain amount of gold. I guess we can put an @ here and do this. Oh, this won't allow us to localize this. I'll just worry about that later. All right, so that's the objective. Now we need the time limit. And then we need any constraints that you have. And we probably shouldn't call them constraints. And you might not have any. I don't know. Let's just try that. See what happens. Yeah, sure. And let's test this out by adding in one fake constraint here. Where did I put all those giant? There. All right, so on medium mode, let's do challenge mode constraint ID dot more enemy damage. Does this have a tooltip? It doesn't, but it's gonna just print out more enemy damage, I believe. I'm gonna have to fix that next. And then we need to make all of the difficulties work. That is gonna be a hefty amount of time involved. And I wanna get as many done as possible. So maybe what we do is we just code as many as we can and then launch. And if I stop like here, then we just write for these ones that they haven't been coded. Anyway, let's hover over this. So it says objective, earn 7,500 gold, time limit 45 minutes, constraints 0 active. Okay, yeah, there's some formatting issues there. Ignore those for now. But yeah, this one says more enemy damage. So what we want to do is we want to go through each constraint and form its tooltip that we have. And that's going to be a little bit difficult. I guess we have all challenge mode constraints. So we want to fetch it from here. We don't even have a way to fetch this. Well. What should we have done for this? I guess we need some sort of public static function that's gonna get us our tooltip. It sounds kind of stupid. Public static challenge mode constraint get constraint. Just return it from the dictionary. Hey, Zeph. Can you make a game in Godot now with just C#? Yeah, you can use any combination of C# and GD script. So just GD script, just C#, a mixture of them both if you want. You can use other languages too. I do know GD script as well. I'm just not using any of it. I don't think we have any GD script in this project. All right, so get constraint, try, return. Yeah, that's good. All right, so now for this constraints, those are just IDs. We want to form a list of the constraints, I guess. Yeah, sure thing, Zeph, and welcome in. So constraints string equals, doesn't string.join take in it takes in values. So we'll do select for each constraint, this is technically an ID. And we go to all challenge mode constraints dot get constraint ID. This has to exist. So we're gonna do that. And we're not gonna do this. And get link in here and then go get the we only do this if they existed in the first place. So how do we want to do that? I guess constraints.count equals 0 string.empty. Otherwise, join all the ones we have. Now there's no name, but there should be a get tooltip here. Yeah. Did I code this? I don't even remember. I think I did. Well, we're about to find out. I'm pretty sure I wrote something in like to do fill me in. If I can recall from like 30 minutes ago. Okay, so here it says objective earn 7,500 gold, time limit, constraint 0 active. And yeah, here we're just missing a new line. So /n plus that, I guess. I don't like how this function looks, but I'm also not going to do anything about it yet. All right, so let's put these in bold and these close the bold tag. Does that look better or worse? We should probably copy whatever I did from the main game. Yeah, it looks okay. I don't want a bulleted list for these things. What am I doing? Let's just look at what the mode does when you enter it. What do we have printing out over here? Current cumulative gold, target cumulative gold. So we're bolding the values, not the numbers, or not the labels. Yeah, so let's do that and let's get rid of this here. And I guess all the bolds that I just added in. So now there's no list, but the constraint should have a list. So we say 0, and then we make a new list out of all these things, UL, and join them with a new line. I think that'll work. I'm really just messing around with formatting right now. I think the rest of this stuff is all now pretty straightforward, except for balance. That's incredibly hard. Yeah, nice. So constraints, it says 0 active, 1 active. I don't really like the idea of even listing how many there are. I think that's kind of silly. But if there are none, I think we should probably say that there are none. So this string should always say something. Maybe just none. Otherwise, it is a list of the things that we had. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can see this working out. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Oh, except for I forgot to bold those things. Oh my God. Just never gonna get this right. Okay. So where do we do that? There's a BB code functions that we need. And we want to bold this entire thing. bb code functions dot format number. And then we do this. Nice. And then same thing here, bb code functions dot format number, time limit dot toString, and then the constraints. Cool. All right, I'm not going to test that. We'll look at it all at once later. This code's looking fine. The thing that's not looking fine is the more enemy damage constraint says to do fill this in. So do more damage. We need to say how much more damage you're doing. So let's have a percentage be here of some like public const float damage multiplier. And I don't know what this should be. I'm making up a number right now. But we take in the damage multiplier and say P0 damage. Okay. Yeah, like I said, we're basically going to be like data entry drones for the rest of today. Just typing in all the descriptions of these things and... Oh, that's not right. 150% more damage. Wait, no, that's do more 150% damage. That's what I meant to write. All right, neat. Okay, cool. And we should probably code one of these things and then check in and then code the rest of them. And it should actually use the things that we have here. Yeah, so this is done. This is done. This is not finished yet. Where does that come from? We have the specialization that you chose and the difficulty. So we do kind of have this already. Enemies do more hurt. Okay, so code all of the new constraints. We need some function in challenge mode configuration that will check if a constraint is active in O of 1. Allow for different tooltips. So we did this. Constraints should always be in the same order. I didn't plan for that. Drat. Because constraints are a hash set right now. If they were a list, then they'd automatically be in the order you specify them in. I don't recall what C# does about hash sets. Yeah, they're just a hash set. I mean, we could just change it to a list. That way they always show up in the order. C# hash set ordering. I wonder how this works. I don't... Does not preserve order of elements. Yep. Okay, I was going to say, it wouldn't really make sense. I don't know how you maintain the properties of a hash set. So yeah, I think we make this into a list. And then for challenge mode configuration, when we construct that, we convert it into a hash set. All right, thank you, Zeph. Yeah. All right. Well, I wrote O of 1 time, so we need everything to be in a hash set at that point. Can you use ordered hash set? We might be able to. I wonder what the drawback is of this. Is something like this something that even exists? Use this dictionary to look up the items and link list to preserve the order. Someone made their own version of this. I don't really think this is necessary, but yeah, I don't really think this is necessary. I'll need to think about this. It's not the end of the world if he's shown the wrong order, but I think it would be confusing. So I think we do make this into a list for now. Yeah. All right, what was the thing I was talking about before that, though? So this is now done. This is done. We need to get rid of these things. This bit about localizing them, I'm just not going to do yet. Yeah. These things are done. This is done. This is done. All right, so get rid of these. Let's go take a look at that. We just delete it, and then we just find wherever the warnings are. Target cumulative money earned. So this exists in what, like 4 different places? So let's just make a property for that, I suppose. What did I delete? Was it a long? Yes, it was a long. So this is going to be equal to this dot get configuration does not have a data field for this. Get gold objective, I guess. Or just gold objective. I remember Java having ordered collections. We could do I ordered list, but the list is already ordered by default, so it should be fine. Also, these are the kinds of things where, like, let's say there's a bug in this case. So let's say we say power plus 5 and haste plus 15% and dodge plus 15%. And this is your choice for adventurer 1. And then for adventurer 2, it's showing in like a different order. A player will probably be like, oh, hey, it'd be easier if you organize these. And then I realize there's a bug. But it's not going to do anything super crazy for us, like break the stats that are here or something. So the impact is incredibly minor if somehow this changes in C#, which I don't think it would. All right, so a challenge mode configuration needs a gold objective here. Do not raise exceptions on unexpected locations. No minutes per challenge for difficulty. This isn't even possible anymore, so we can delete that and that. And then the not handling all possible values isn't going to be a thing either, so let's not worry about that yet. So when you make one of these, I would like to store the configuration out of this. How do we do that? Challenge mode specialization data. It's just get, I think. Or all. Get, yeah. And then public gold objective is that. Now, what's the problem with that? Long. And what's the problem with that? It's not gold objective. Oh, it's difficulties. Oh, so actually all we care about is the specific difficulty data that you're going to be using. Right? Yeah. Difficulty data. This is this dot difficulties selected difficulty ID. And then this pulls from difficulty data dot gold objective. The time limit pulls from that same thing, which looks nice. Difficulty data dot time limit. It's not called time limit. It is called time limit. What's the problem here? Int? Because this is a double? Oh, int. Should probably call it time limit in minutes or something. Is there no global ignore file? I think there could be, but I just co-locate them with the records that we use. And then there's one other thing I need here, which is the constraints. But this has to be a Boolean. Public bool has constraint. Challenge mode constraint ID. All right, so now this can look like this. Difficulty data dot constraints dot contains. So this will work, but this is O of n. I wanted this to be in constant time. So technically, we need to get the constraints as a hash set. Constraints is going to be, we need to store this off. How do I, oh, I see, I just say equals. I'm being very smart. And for this, we get difficulty data dot constraints dot to hash. So yeah, exactly that. All right, and then we can just get this from here. All right, now what's the problem with this? What is the problem with that? Field initializer cannot reference non-static field, method, or property. Because of ordering, probably. So we'd have to say get constraint. I want to store this off. I think we need to stop using a record class for this. Thank you, Leap Year Girl. I hope you have a nice weekend too. Yeah, good to see you again. What do? Yeah, what do I do? I'm not sure how you work around this. And the only thing I could think is that we like extract out the constructor from here, which is maybe possible, maybe not. Public challenge mode configuration. Can you do this? Because this violates the very record structness of this, or record class of this. Then we put this in here. Does this work? No. Drat. So close. Okay, so how are you supposed to do this? Maybe you can't. C# record class constructor. Is it a thing? We could just make it a regular class at this point. Create mutable properties in fields. I think we should just make a class at this point. Building formatting for display, inheritance, generic constraints, language specification. Custom constructor. You can do this? Oh, but then you need to store it off yourself? Okay, I see. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so we would just not have capitalized things here. So I need to make these public. Get init. And same thing for difficulty. Difficulty ID, get init. And then lowercase these things. And delete this stuff. I don't know about that. I guess we construct one of these things from the title screen. But I'm setting what they are here. So I don't know why we defaulted these. And then lowercase that stuff so that the pragma's not needed. And I think we're good. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Everything looking fine? Remove this if it isn't part of... Oh, yeah. I gotta set these things now. Selected, specialization ID, and difficulty ID. All right. So over on the title screen, we make a new one of these things, and we're trying to set these. These now need to be lowercase, I guess. No, wait a second. What? No. We just allow these to be settable. Oh, God. Okay, fine. Then we just specify them in the constructor and not like how I did them. Colons for these. Does it build? This has been a really great amount of progress, to be honest. I know it's all coding stuff and it doesn't really look like the game has changed, but we are developing the road right now, and we're about to go cruise through that road by filling it with data pretty soon, but we haven't done that yet. What is this? So make a new one of these. Yeah, I want to do this way. And that. Okay, now I think it should build. And what are we really testing here? Because I did something. Oh yeah, the time limits are used correctly. All right, let's try that out. So objective, this is 45 minutes. So if I click this, we get 45 minutes. And if I click hard mode, we get 35 minutes. Yeah, nice, that worked. And then the objective should be able to change, but I think I just coded it to 7,500 every single time. Where are all the 7,500s? Here they are. Yeah, so let's change it for one of these. Make this 5,000. I don't know. We're just trying to see if this was parameterized correctly. Looks much cleaner. Well, it's nice to have all this in one spot. What is going on? Did I not even press the button? I don't think I pressed the button. I am starting to get very hungry. Yeah, it's about noon. Okay, so this says you have to earn 5,000 gold. Does it actually work? 5,000, yeah. And what happens if I don't have an easy way of getting 5,000 exactly. So what we can do is we can make a bunch of items and a bunch of workers and a bunch of customers. And then just, no, don't put those over there. And then speed this up and just see, is this actually correct? So once we hit 5,000 gold, I can speed this up some more. Oops. Okay, so we're at 800. Yeah, 1,000. The percentage is correct, but I don't know if the game's actually going to end when it hits 5,000. It should. Just add some more workers in here. Okay, 3,000, 4,000. I ran out of items. And 5,000. Yeah, nice. That worked. Okay, and then we should probably test that with medium mode. So now we have 35 minutes to earn 7,500. I'm just going to click the button here. There's no telling whether that worked, but I don't care. All right, any other weird issues here? No. Okie dokie. So what have we done? We've fixed that. Changed this to pull the new times from that. That's good. That's done. So code all the constraints, add all the difficulties, make it clear what each one does while you're in the game, and then release. Wait. Does the level show up correctly? If I go into very hard, what shows up here? Level 4. Oh, nice. Okay, I think it should probably say very hard at some point. Or we put a little skull icon there or something. Or we say what the constraints are in here. Allows the cheat menu as a perk. The thing about that you got to consider is, like, let's say the game launches in February and then there's a sale in March and I just forget about that. And then a bunch of people play for the first time on April 1st and they're like, this game is so easy. Why wouldn't you just pick the cheat menu? I don't think they would think it's an April Fool's joke. They would probably just think it's a bug. Now, what I do think would be funny is if we put the Skeleseller wrap in on April 1st and it had like a 1% chance of showing up. I think that would be funny. Okay, so yeah, these need to change to tell you what the difficulty is. Otherwise, you'd never know, right? So render constraints. Oh my God, I cannot type the word constraints in the objective details. Getting there, almost got it. That's pretty good. Making good progress. Yeah, this is going pretty well. Let's see if we can check this in. All right, there's quite a lot to look through here. So let's keep track of the commit message for this. It's going to be allow varying difficulty levels. Allow for varying difficulty levels. Note the only level I've coded, well, I should say I haven't really used this functionality yet. So we just have the ability to do this. Yeah. Okay, so there are now 4 difficulty levels per specialization. And we select a specialization by, we select the first specialization by default so that we don't need to handle a case. You know what? We should probably select one of the difficulty levels by default too. Why don't we do that? New challenge run screen. So we get the first specialization button. Let's get the first difficulty button too. If selected difficulty is none, then button.setPressed. Now, technically that means this needs to be untoggled, just like before. So now when you go to that screen for the first, oops, that's going to be, yeah, I didn't mean to do that. If toggled on. Okay. So the first time you go to the challenge screen, it should be farming and easy selected. Nice. So you could hit start immediately. In fact, there's no way for this to be disabled now because you can't deselect one of the buttons. Okay. Select the first specialization and difficulty buttons by default so that we don't need to handle a case where we don't need to handle an invalid state for starting a run. All right, what else? There's like a million other things to look through here. So let's look through them. Manifested all of the data. That's pretty good. Yeah, a lot of this stuff isn't super worth looking through because it's so straightforward, I feel. Yeah. I don't like this. I just don't like it. Yeah, I never coded this. We just have it showing up. This is surprisingly really good. Yeah, we should not check in main. I got to remember that. So let's check in everything other than main. And then let's start looking at the stuff after main. But yeah, we can't check in main because main changes the skip title screen thing. And I don't want to do that. I only want to temporarily do that. This is fine. Yeah, this is fine. What do we have here? Looks good. Added 2 more difficulties. Set the tooltips correctly. Updated tooltips correctly. Yeah. I mean, all this stuff looked fine. And then a runtime validator for this. Yeah. Very straightforward commit. I know it was a lot of work designing the code and then actually writing it out, but it was a lot of boilerplate work. So here's what the afternoon's going to look like. We need to take as many of these specializations as we can and code as many difficulties as we can. And if we were to just change the objective and time limit, it would take us like 2 minutes because we would just type in a bunch of values, right? But the hard part here is that we need to change the constraints for all of these and they need to be functional. So, and I don't know what these should be, like ignore the numbers. Those are going to take a long time to figure out, but the enemies do 150% damage. At some point, I need a check in the game for if this constraint is active, make them do more damage. And I don't have that. And we need to code like 30 of those. So it's probably going to be easy enough and it'll just be like brain dead work that I have to do. But that's the goal for this afternoon. And it's to then release this so that people can try this out over the weekend and say like, oh, hey, industry on very hard is actually just still way too easy. Or oh, enchanting on easy is way too hard. Those sorts of things. Are they unique? They're not necessarily unique. So as an example, enemies do more damage. This may show in 2 specializations. Or like you can't build the pond. That may show in, that might be unique. I'm not actually positive yet. But yeah, they aren't going to show in like 4 different specializations or something. So in general, these should feel like they're at least different. They might not feel super different yet, but they should feel pretty different. So the individual ones aren't unique. Each special, yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And some specializations may be completely unique, as in it's not only a unique set, but each individual constraint is also unique. Yeah. I wonder if we should do something about this and get this to lay out differently. I'm not actually sure why. Not sure why that's happening. Hey, Mirth, welcome in. What were you doing on stream? Let's have a look. To Finland, a new Go journey. It's funny when I can like peer into someone else's stream and see what they said before the raid. Yeah, welcome in everybody. Yeah, here we're working on a game called Skeleseller, and I'll show a brief intro of the game. And for anyone who's been watching and has been like, what is this guy doing? So Skeleseller is a very, very laid back, it's a casual, idle-like game where you hire adventurers, you send them into battle, they fight automatically for you. I'll speed this up a little bit. And when they win a battle, they will earn items, which will pop out of the portal. And then you got a little worker that'll go plop it into a shop, and customers who will go buy those items. And when you earn money, you can spend it on adventurers, you can spend it on buildings, you can get perks to upgrade things. So it's an incremental game. Like I said, very casual and laid back. But then you work your way through the battle map over here, you get a bunch of adventurers, blah, 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 and you eventually beat the game. And that's when you unlock challenge mode. And this is now not casual. This is a mode where you can actually lose. So you have an objective and you have a time limit. And when you start a run over here, you will always see this timer counting down at the upper left. So we have 35 minutes to collect 7,500 gold, but we are in the farming specialization. So we start with a farm, and as it builds up, you wouldn't be able to do this in the game. I'm cheating in crops right now. You'd be able to harvest a bunch of crops, and now you'd be able to level up your adventurers even faster. But there are roguelike choices now where you might not get the adventurer you want. So like we have the golem, we can get this, but maybe this is a better upgrade. So we see 15% haste and we're like, okay, let's go for that. So now we try to hire an adventurer, and we were actually offered that adventurer, but that was random and it might not have happened that way. Hey, Pige, long time no see. And hey, Mixamicides. Quick idea for farm constraints, since that's focused on powering your dudes, maybe a constraint that adds minimum level requirement to each zone, kind of slows you down advancing the higher level stuff. I think just making enemies stronger is sort of like putting a minimum level requirement on it, but in a more fun way. So it doesn't stop you from accessing a location. Anyway, Mirth, you said you were learning Go in this stream. What were you doing with Go? Hey, develop it. Yeah, so the thing we're going to work on in a bit is going to be fleshing out all of these specializations so that the difficulties are actually different. Right now, there's just a bunch of fake values there. So it says constraints none for basically every single one of these, except for this one, which says enemies do more damage, but they don't actually do more damage yet. Playing Go and Flight Simulator. Oh, wait, is it? Oh, I thought it was like Go programming. Oh, you're playing Go as in the ancient game, right? Okay. I always assume that the people who raid are generally game devs or software engineers or something adjacent to that. Maybe they're making music or art or something like that. And so Go to me would mean that you're coding. You don't know Golang. Yeah. Okay. My misunderstanding there. Gotcha. Well, welcome in nonetheless. And yeah, if you ever want to play Skeleseller on stream and you want me to raid you, just let me know. The game is free to try right now as a demo. And this challenge mode stuff is accessible to playtesters if anyone wants to try it. By the way, Pige, are you interested in playtesting by any chance? I bet you would give me some great feedback. It's very rough around the edges still, but I think it's pretty fun. I don't know if you would like it though. Okay, what was I just about to do? Oh, I was about to check in. Let's check in before I forget. Where's my commit message? Here it is. Okay, so I haven't really used this, so we just have the ability to do this, but no real data. There are now 4 difficulty levels per specialization rather than 2. We select the first specialization difficulty button by default. Cool. Yeah. Check all that stuff in. Stream just isn't the same without Kevin. Yeah. I know. People come in, they become regulars, they leave. We cry and cry and cry, but it doesn't bring them back. Turns out tears are not generally attractive to people. All right, we got to fill in the journal entry now. Anyway, Pige, I don't recall if I gave you a playtest key, so if you do want to play, just DM me on Discord, and I can give you a key. What do they have? The indie game development doesn't? Nothing. Just nothing. Can't think of a single thing. Started coding the design from yesterday. Challenge mode. Whoops. Challenge mode difficulty constraints. Hey, LA, how you doing? I know the answer to that one. Deadlines. Okay, well, it is 12:07. I should probably go get lunch. And then when we get back, finish coding as many of these things as we can. Is there a Godot extension for C# in VS Code? I think there is. Do I have one? Godot tools. I have this. That's not specifically for C# though. I don't. Okay, I don't think there is anymore. Yeah, that's the only one I have installed. And I don't even really use this a whole lot, although maybe this has C# stuff in it. I'm not positive what this does. One of the things it does is it lets you see a scene tree inside C#, which I think is kind of stupid, to be honest. Like, this is the scene tree that you would see if you went to Godot and opened up the UI scene, for example. But I'd rather just look at it in here where I could see everything and also change things. I don't know if you can change things here. No, you can't. Although you can do a decent amount more than what I thought you could do here. You can open the script. I don't really use this though. So I don't know why I use this extension or why I haven't installed. What lunch will we get? I'm not totally sure. How long have I been using C# for? So I think the first time I used C# was probably in like 2010. And then I used it professionally for a while. Then I used it again in like 2015 for some stuff. And then I probably used it again in like 2020. So it's been like every 5 years. Kind of funny that that's worked out that way. So you switch between Godot, Studio, and VS Code? Yeah, but I don't tend to open Godot a whole lot. When I'm working with a UI thing, I do, but I tend to do a lot of script-heavy stuff. Okay, well, like I said, I got to get lunch because I'm starting to get pretty hungry. So if anyone wants to try the game, there is a link to the demo. If anyone wants to join the playtest, there is a document for how you can get it, which is basically just DM me on Discord. And then if anyone wants to join Discord in general, there are the links for that. What am I eating? I'm not sure what it's going to be. Yeah. But thank you all for watching. I hope you'll be back in about an hour when I am coding the rest of the challenge mode stuff. And hopefully we can release something today so the playtesters can try it out. But I will see you all in a bit. Thank you for being here.